W rule came in, but that was the theory behind them. It was thanks to this guy that shin protection made its way over to football. Meet Samuel Widdowson. He was a cricketer and a footballer. He played for Nottingham Forest back in the late 1800s, and he wanted a way to protect his legs from nasty tackles. Apparently, he'd broken his leg in a match against Sheffield United in 1874 and wanted to stop it from happening again. Naturally, his mind drifted to his other favourite sport, where players had been wearing these pads. Story goes, Widdowson cut up his cricket pads, sewed them into his socks and popped them on before taking to the footy pitch. Ta-da! Shin pads. Like all great genius inventors, everyone took the mickey at first. To be fair, he probably looked quite stupid running around with these on. But it's thought his whole Nottingham Forest team then began wearing them from 1887, and the first known use of them in a match was in 1894, in a match between Newcastle and the then Woolwich Arsenal. Eventually, FIFA clocked on that this protection was pretty important for footballers. Multiple studies have shown wearing shin pads clearly reduces the risk of players getting lower leg injuries. And so, in 1990, basically 100 years after Widdowson first put them on, shin pads were made compulsory. It became a part of Law 4 of IFAB. That's the body responsible for setting the laws of the game internationally. But the law doesn't actually specify anything about measurements of shin pads. It just says pads must be made of a suitable material and be of an appropriate size to provide reasonable protection. It's really vague, and players can get away with a lot. A lot of grassroots clubs are choosing to ban micro shin pads for obvious reasons though, especially after a 15-year-old player from Penistone Church broke his leg while wearing them. Still no change from IFAB though. That's why Grealish & Co can still get away with these ones, which are no bigger than a credit card and which seem to offer little to no protection whatsoever.
Very good morning to you. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Build your own car deal online or with a few clicks they make buying your next car easy. It is 3 minutes past 6 o'clock on the 1st of August. I'm Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor's with me. Morning, Gab.
Good morning, Jeff. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, mate. Can you believe it? August the 1st and the EFL season starts tonight.
I'm buzzing about it, though.
I think it's too early.
Really?
I mean, in my day, I know, here we go, dinosaur
1920,
city again. Yeah, you'd be looking at the end of August to start the season, not the 1st of August. I mean, some of those teams, like talking to Johnny Jackson yesterday, by the time they had their playoffs, it was May, so they've had
2 months.
Yeah, 6 weeks to get ready for the season. It's crazy.
Yeah, especially with time off as well. Yeah. But we're not complaining, Jeff. Football's back to watch.
Do you mean you don't enjoy those summer sports?
They don't need this time off, Jeff.
Yeah.
They've paid that much all through the leagues.
But Gabby, surely you'll have Wimbledon and the Open Golf and the cricket. You must love all of that.
No, but I did love as well, as much as the Club World Cup was annoying for some people, I didn't mind the latter stages. When it got to the knockout stages. And obviously the Women Euros, they were fantastic as well.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Wimbledon was amazing, by the way.
Yeah, there's been some great sports.
Yes.
But football, I might take a week or two just for us really to sort of get stuck into it, I think, While you get used to which teams are in which division for a start.
So what else, Jeff?
Which players play for who.
Exactly. You know what else? We forget, don't we, that when the season's on, football every day.
I know.
Every day, isn't it? Every night, football.
I think
so get ready for the ride.
More so this season than ever before, know. Mind you, if you're a Sheffield Wednesday fan, all you want to do is see some football from your team at the moment.
My old club, Sheffield Wednesday, on loan now.
Yeah, they're in a real mess. Obviously, we'll talk about them a bit later on. And poor old Morecambe, we'll talk about them as well, because Monday could be D-Day for them. They could be done and dusted by Monday, which is just shameful, really. Criminal, in actual fact. Anyway, happy August, everyone. First of the month, just a month to go in the transfer window. It's been a busy window for a lot of clubs so far in the Premier League. Not so busy for others, by the way. £1.5 billion spent already. One of the bigger names who could be on the move, not happened yet, is Eberechi Eze from Palace, of course. Here's talkSPORT's transfer correspondent Ben Jacobs on Eze's latest, including his release clause, which is about to expire.
Yeah, I think it's technically Friday evening, so 11:59 you can trigger it, and midnight heading into Saturday, the release clause expires, because that takes you 2 weeks before the beginning of the Premier League season. I know in this modern age you've got Friday games and so on, but when it was written, I think it was basically to do with the Saturday and the weekend, 2 weeks before the Premier League season. So about 24 hours if somebody wants to trigger it. My expectation is it won't make much difference. The clause is 60 million up front, 8 million in add-ons. Arsenal have already communicated to Crystal Palace that they don't want to trigger it now. They might need an outgoing first before they formalise their interest in Eze. But the expectation is still they'll bid at some point between now and the end of the window, and lower than this soon-to-be expiring release clause. And as a consequence, it will fall on Crystal Palace, because once the clause is gone, they can shut the door, they can demand that the previous active clause is matched, or maybe they can entertain a lower amount. And I think Arsenal are looking at Anthony Elanga, who moved, of course, to Newcastle from Nottingham Forest. And because Eze's only got 2 years left on his deal, they think 55 million might be competitive if Crystal Palace choose to sell.
Ben Jacobs there with the latest on Eberechi Eze. Interesting. So Arsenal really just sitting and waiting for the buyout clause to expire.
I think as well, maybe they're looking at it, who can they sell, Jeff?
Yeah.
What money can they bring in before they go and pay 55 million? They've already spent 200 million this transfer window. So maybe PSR reasons they can't afford to pay another 55 plus add-ons, wages.
You think, wouldn't you? It's going to be one of the left-sided players. If they're selling,
Yes.
they're selling either Gabriel Martinelli or Leandro Trossard.
Which one do you reckon?
In my view, Trossard's 30. So my view would be it would be Trossard. I think he's a good player. I think he's a really, really good player. He can be a match changer, but then you'd ask yourself, is Eze an upgrade on Trossard?
Yes.
Definitely, isn't he?
Yeah, he's... When I watch him, Jeff, there's not many players now where you watch and say, still a flair player. The way he controls that ball on the turn, so casual. His goal scoring's got better now. I think he's an outstanding player. But if on Crystal Palace, I do not sell, because I worry for them without Eze.
Yeah.
I do like Sarr. I think he's done very well last season. Obviously, Mateta, great player, but Eze's their main man. Going into European football next season as well, you want to keep on to Eze after losing Elise last season.
Yeah.
I will do everything to keep Eze.
And it looks like they might lose, almost certainly will lose Mark Gahey as well before the transfer window's done. So, but from the player's point of view, there was a lot of speculation, wasn't it, 12 months ago, that he, like Elise, would be on the move. And when he seen, his mate's gone off to Bayern Munich and done brilliantly, you'd imagine that would just increase his desire to move on as well.
I think as well, Thomas Tuchel loves him. I think he scored in the recent England game. And it's when you're looking at other players, Jeff, especially when you go away with England and you're looking at these players playing in the Champions League. You know what I mean? Liverpool, Man City players that won the Champions League. And your career's very short. He's not 21, 22.
No.
He's at an age now where he needs to go and win big trophies. So if you're Eze, go and maybe triple your money, and go and play in the big competitions.
Spurs won in Hong Kong. What a goal it was, by the way. He's never going to score another goal like that again.
I know. It was a foul, though, wasn't it, if you look at it closely?
Yeah, but look, just the same, he scored from 45 yards or whatever. But as a player, you wouldn't have ever read anything into pre-season games, would you?
Do you know what, Jeff? I said this last night, is you look into the last game before the Premier League starts. So we always played that Saturday before the Premier League started at the same time. Remember, we played Inter Milan, we played Fiorentina. You know, the big game at Villa Park. And normally that game is where you're starting to look and think, okay, how's the team doing? What's the team that he's picking? Because that normally was the team that started the week afterwards.
Yeah.
Unless you got beat 5-0 and then everyone's on the bench. But these games now, it's still 2 weeks to go. It's more about fitness. Everyone's at a different stage. Sometimes the players have done 2 hours of running 5 hours before that game. that people don't know about. So I would look into results and performances.
Yeah. Unless you're a Spurs fan, of course, and you're going to take all the positives out of going and
North London's white.
winning the North London derby in Hong Kong. And Yao Paulinho sounds like he might be on his way back, on his way to Tottenham, back to the Premier League. You surprised it hasn't really worked out for him at Bayern?
Very surprised. Very, very surprised. Because when we watched him at Fulham, outstanding player, number 6, can get forward, can get goals. He can score goals from distance as well. But you look at Portugal as well. He doesn't play for them. And I know it's hard at Portugal, the amount of players they've got in that position, centre midfield. But for Spurs, I think it's a great signing, Jeff. I really do. Højbjerg left, I think, for like 10 to 12 million. You look at Bentancur, Basuma. Especially Basuma, is he at the level that maybe Thomas Frank wants? I'm not sure. I think he walks straight into that side as that number 6.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's a sort of problem position, or has been a problem position for Spurs. I don't think people thought they would miss Højbjerg as much as they have.
Yeah, of course. Fact. 100%.
Yeah.
When he was at it, he was a pest, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
He was strong, he was aggressive, he could play, he was everywhere, up and down the pitch. But I'm sure Spurs fans will wake up this morning, because there were a lot of moaning over the last week about players not coming in and missing out on Gibbs White, which is an interesting story that I was speaking about a lot, Jeff.
Yeah.
How is that Spurs' fault?
Yeah, no, it's not
What
Spurs'
can you
fault.
do?
Of course it's not. In the end, I don't think it is. I mean, they've made an approach, haven't they? And in the end, the players decided to sign a new deal with Nottingham Forest. Not much more you can do about that. I worry about Spurs a bit, though, still. I mean, I like Thomas Frank a lot. It's a great result yesterday. They brought in Kudus, but the squad's still thin.
Oh,
the squad is still too thin.
Who's your second left back?
Yeah.
Udogi's got an injury again.
Yeah.
Who's your fourth centre half? You got Romero, you got Van der Ven, both injury prone.
Yeah.
Danso's okay.
In terms of left back, Jed Spence can go over and play. But even so, it just is an illustration of just how thin the squad is.
Solanke, who's your cover for Solanke? Or who can push him?
Yeah.
The Champions League now, Jeff. Do you need someone a bit better than Solanke?
And that's a big issue as well, is that it's Champions League. And the demands of the Champions League massively different than the demands of the Europa League.
100%. And if you're playing two days a week, especially if you're playing Champions League on a Wednesday, Premier League on a Saturday, you're going to need 2 top strikers. Look at Aston Villa last season. They had to go and get Rashford on loan after losing out, selling Duran to Saudi Arabia. You need 2.
Yeah. You worried for Villa?
I am. If the transfer window ended today, I am quite worried. But I'm sure they've got a plan, Jeff. They've got some sellable assets that I've written down that hopefully maybe our friends in Saudi Arabia can do us a favour and pay 50 million per player to raise some funds. But no, Aston Villa, I'm sure in the next month will get their business done.
We will talk a lot more about Villa and the transfer market during the course of the programme. John Parrott will be with us a bit later on, massive Evertonian. Of course, David Moyes sending out distress signals the other day, wasn't he, in the States, saying time's running out, we can't get deals over the line. And they've been linked with Tyler Dibbling of Southampton last night, but had a £27 million deal turned down.
Was it plus 60 add-ons?
Well, what made me smile was when Southampton were relegated, they said Dibbling's not leaving for less than £100 million.
I know.
Yeah, are we talking monopoly money here? Look, he's a talented young player.
Yeah, but how long's he got on his contract? He's not going to sign a new contract, obviously.
No, absolutely
no
not.
way.
He must be playing in the Premier League. I'm sure Everton will be back in for him. We want to hear from you this morning. Get in touch. We want to know what your team still needs to do with a month left of the window. Tell us what team's having the worst window so far in your view. 03717 223344 is the number you need. Or you can leave us a voice note on 81089. Up next, we'll turn our attention to the back pages and focus on West Ham's Lucas Paqueta finally being cleared of his spot-fixing charges and what this means for the player. morning for a classic Def Leppard there, because it's their frontman Joe Elliott's 66th birthday today. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. Gabby's with me this morning. You a Def Leppard fan?
I remember this tune.
I do, actually,
I like
as well.
it.
Yeah.
It's one of them tunes that you hear a lot over the years. If it's on after films
and not necessarily know who it is.
Exactly, but you're like, okay, I like this song. Yeah. I can get jiggy with this, Jeff.
But I just look, I mean, they're a metal band, aren't they? Heavy metal band, really. Yeah, you're not into heavy metal, are you?
It's not something that I'd go and put on, but I can imagine it's sort of music that you listen to, the odd song, and you're like, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I could listen to that.
Yeah.
How about you, Jeff? You get it on while you're reading the book at home?
No, not now. I mean, not now. Look, I was my teenage years and early 20s, brought through the classic years of metal, if you like, with people like Black Sabbath and the late Ozzy Osbourne, Led Zeppelin, Jethro Tull, people like that, you know, absolutely used
legends
to love it. They were absolutely brilliant as well. Never was a great Def Leppard fan, but hey, I like
this
you.
song,
Like
it's okay, isn't it?
Like that a lot, yeah. 6:19, it's Friday the 1st of August, can you believe it? EFL season starts. I know you said you were looking forward to it, by the way, but I bet as a player, you were thinking, oh, this is too soon.
Oh, 100%. July the 1st, when you had to come back into pre-season, you was like, already? You're just running round, old school running. Martin O'Neill get a ball, run around it, come back as quick as you can. And then when the season starts, Jeff, it was always 30 degrees. First home game of the season, always remember, mid-August, boiling, and you can't breathe. The pace of the game is slow. But then you get an international break 2 weeks afterwards. Lovely. Get back on holiday.
Yeah, well, unless you're involved in the internationals.
Exactly. If you're not, go and get another few days.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at today's back pages with Tesco Mobile for Business.
The Back Page Review on talkSPORT with Tesco Mobile for Business. Got a side hustle baking bread? Improve your take-home dough with business phone bills for up to 40% less than the big three networks. For verification, see tescomobile.com/business.
Max Scott is with us. So, Max, you were a heavy metal fan? Were you a Def Leppard fan?
I wasn't, although when I was doing my Masters in Sheffield, Def Leppard came to town, sold out Bramall Lane, and I'd never seen anything like it. Leather jackets, sort of like dark T-shirts with the devil on the front. and I was taken aback, to be fair, but I would say that they're not my genre, Jeff.
Not your genre. What is your genre?
I would tell you, I love a bit of like bluegrass country music. Yeah. So my dad's sort of into loads of different like world music and stuff, and we've got some really good records sort of on an old record player that I really like, a bit of Western music. And then for me, like Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah,
I know Oasis are in town, and I'm gutted I didn't get tickets, but I'd be more gutted if it was Fleetwood Mac. They're just top for me.
Yeah, I've seen Fleetwood Mac, absolutely brilliant in their heyday, as well. And what a story behind that band! Oh my goodness, not something to be gone into over breakfast, really. Anyway, what have we got in the papers today, Max?
Well, look, I mean, back page is dominated by a bit of Chris Wokes, but also Lucas Paquetá. So the Express saying Paquetá cleared the Sun. Grateful, you bet. And the Star say, pack up your troubles. Of course, Lucas Paquetá cleared those spot fixing charges. He says he's grateful to God. That they found that he wasn't guilty of deliberately getting booked 4 times. But 2 lesser charges against the Brazilian playmaker are failing to answer questions and provide information to the FA's investigation have been found proven, but we expect that just to be a fine, which for footballer these days is, it will be sort of dropping the ocean for him now. Look, this took 2 years. 2 years.
That's shameful.
He's missed out on a move to Manchester City. It's career changing for him.
Of course it is. And for West Ham, I mean, the performances he was putting in, you could tell. And any player will be the same with that sort of case hanging over them. You can't go out and perform.
Yeah.
You're out there playing football and it's on your mind, I could be not playing forever.
Well, you saw him on the sidelines sort of emotional when they first came out, and you can totally understand.
Yeah. The threat of a lifetime ban, and the impact on his family as well must have been shocking. I'm very pleased for him.
Yeah.
From West Ham's perspective, if they keep him now, I'm not sure whether he would plan to stay. I would hope so, because West Ham have stood by him.
Yeah.
So I hope he would give something back.
But if he
like
doesn't,
a new player.
But if he doesn't, the teams weren't going to pay big money for Paquetá like Man City with this hanging over. Now that he's cleared, he's a sellable asset again.
He is, but I think he's also got to prove himself again because, understandably, he was way below par last season, way below par. And West Ham, by the way, I mean, Mark's texted in now, said, "Hi, Jeff, West Ham, my team, only signed 2 defenders so far." You know, how about bids for Hurst, Cotty, Brooking, Moore, Bonds and Lampard Senior? But look, hopefully Paqueta will come back. Hopefully be like a new player for us.
Yeah, and hopefully so. And look, considering the fact that they've only signed 2 defenders, they're going to need him to be back to his best. And I think with this off his shoulders, you'd like to think it has, because I can't help but feel sympathy for him, missing out on that life-changing move and all the money that would have come his way. So yeah, good news for Lucas Paquetá. Now, the next story, of course, is around Chris Woakes, agonising stuff. Back of the Mirror, hit for Chris for England. The Mail saying agony for Woakes. This is, of course, the fact that we believe that Chris Woakes has had a dislocated shoulder when he was chasing a ball to the boundary late at the day at the Oval. Went off the field with his left arm in a makeshift sling. Now, it's interesting because after the 4th test, Ben Stokes was asked about substitutions in cricket because Rishabh Pant was injured, etc. And he completely poo-pooed the idea, saying that Ben Stokes feels that it could be manipulated. He said, if you put me in any scan, there'd be something wrong with me and I could be subbed out, etc. But when it's such a serious injury in such a crucial test, do you think that those rules should be looked at, Jeff, or do you think that the rules as they are, the game's good enough as it is?
I think the game's good enough as it is. You can look at it now from an England perspective and say it's a massive blow, because obviously we're left with 3 seam bowlers, no specialist spinner. Woakes won't be able to bat either, and we know he can bat too. So it's a massive blow. But I think, as an overview, I think don't tamper with cricket as it is, you know. And I think, as you're saying there, it would be too easy to manipulate. I don't know. But dislocated shoulder.
Shame to hear that,
the problem is it just can keep happening and happening. Did you have any bad injuries, Gab?
No, I was quite lucky, to be honest, Jeff. I done a medial ligament once pre-season, but that was only 6 weeks. That was the longest I was out.
Wow.
Didn't have any bad knees, any bad ankles, little calf tears here and there and hamstrings, but touch wood, I was lucky. Some players now, even like my era, knees, still taking fluid out their knees, regular. Joey had to retire because they wanted to be able to play football with their kid one day. Yeah. So I was quite lucky.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on the rule changes, by the way, Jeff. I think so. You look at the way that cricket's run, particularly with their version of VAR, right? It works the best I've seen in any other sport in terms of intervention from technology. And you sort of think, of course, nothing's ever going to be perfect, but keep it as it is. Because Test cricket, I mean, like we did with the talkSPORT dugout, it's the nation's second favourite sport. Yes. Even though it can go on for 5 days and it's lambasted by people from other countries saying it's the most boring thing since sliced bread. It's not. It's been electric, this series.
It's been a wonderful series. Even the drawn match last time around. I mean, I sat on the last day watching the Indian batsmen, deny the English bowlers. It was barely a run scored, in truth. Well, not till the last half an hour.
Harry Brook came on.
But I loved it. I loved it. It was such an intense contest. I think it's been a brilliant, brilliant series. The irony, of course, was that Chris Woakes injured there, trying to save a single effectively, because he was injured on the boundary, trying to haul a ball back. Would have been 1 run that he saved.
I know what he's missing.
It's cruel, in the sense the consequences way outweigh what he would have gained.
Yes. Yeah, sickening for Chris Woakes. Now, last story this is just sort of broke in the early hours this morning. This is Lewis Rees-Zammit, who of course was the sort of Welsh, the star boy of Welsh rugby. He was in the Lions tour at a very young age. Of course, he decided to quit rugby totally, to try to force a career in the NFL. He's now decided that he's going to return to rugby. He says, and some might say he has the cheek to say he's coming home, because of course when he decided to leave rugby and go to the NFL, he said it's been the dream of his lifetime, and now all of a sudden it's a dream to return to rugby. He's not played 1 NFL game. Didn't play a single game. He's but still cashed in on a load of money, because you play for those practice squads in the NFL. You're one of the richest men on the planet. Now, the context of this is, since he's been away, Wales have won 1 international game, just their last game against Japan. They've been at the worst time in history. I just sort of think, do you think any fans would be fair to say he's let his country down? Do you think he's got work to do to sort of regain trust, or do you think it's like, get him back, he's a wonderful player, can't wait to have him back in the game?
I don't know about you, Gabs. I think it's all in the timing. He's going to come back now when Welsh rugby is going through absolute turmoil, and he will no doubt become a superstar for them again. But he's the latest in a long line, isn't he? Who has gone out to the States to try and make the grade in the NFL. And how many have done it? How many have made it?
Yeah.
I can't think of any.
No, I mean, was it Christian Wade? He I think, got into similar practice squads. I don't actually know if he... I mean, he didn't make it in the terms of... he's not got a long history.
Can you blame them? The financial...
Would you have done it? So if you're on the cusp, height of your powers at Villa, cusp of the England squad, and then the New York Jets say, we want you to come and be a pacey winger.
I think on the money he was on.
I just think that the money that the rugby players earn, it's good money, but in the NFL, what they're getting, I know it's not guaranteed their contracts, but some of them are incredible.
But he didn't make it, though.
I know. It's
a
worth the risk,
different sport. I think people don't... It's a different sport.
Yeah.
You know, it's like saying, because I can play cricket, I should be a good tennis player. You know, it doesn't automatically follow.
In NFL, no.
No.
So I think it'd be interesting to see the response he gets, because look, he's their star boy, and he's clearly, by all accounts, he's a lovely lad. But I think that maybe the rugby purist will sort of think you've got some work to do, and there's even reports that he might actually go over to France, and with Welsh domestic rugby at its lowest ebb, they're talking about 2 franchises are going to be having to be disbanded. It doesn't look like he's going to go back to Wales to help the game. He's going to go to France, where, and understandably so, he'll get paid well over there. But I think there'll be some rugby purists out there maybe a little bit frustrated.
Definitely.
Yeah, no question. Max, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Max.
Pleasure.
And that was a look at today's back pages with Tesco Mobile for Business. Coming up, the EFL is back tonight, live on talkSPORT 2. But which players should you keep an eye out for? You'll find out next.
The Back Page Review on talkSPORT with Tesco Mobile for Business. Got a side hustle baking bread? Improve your take-home dough with business phone bills for up to 40% less than the big 3 networks. For verification, see tescomobile.com/business.
Who would have thought a sporting event's halftime show could have a bigger impact than the game itself? That seems to be the case with the Super Bowl halftime show. In 2024, Usher brought in an audience of 180 million worldwide, the biggest in the event's history. But how did singing and dancing get to be the centerpiece of America's biggest sporting event? The first Super Bowl was held in 1967. Initially, the halftime show was a display purely for the fans in the stadium, with marching bands, dancers, and American patriotism for all to see. And that's what it was for the first few years. Disney had a go with a few questionable displays in the 1980s, but it wasn't until '93 that we got the first glimpse into the future of halftime shows. Michael Jackson's stellar performance gave NFL execs something to think about. A raft of massive names followed, including Diana Ross, U2, Janet Jackson, who gave us the most famous or infamous wardrobe malfunction of all time. So how many people are involved? To give you an idea of the scale, Rihanna's 2023 performance included 800 people, and experts reckon it cost $13 million. What's even more impressive than some of the names on the bill every year is the fact they do it for free. The artists know the exposure they'll get from doing the show will rocket them up the charts across the world. The Super Bowl halftime show will be a fixture in pop culture for years to come. So the question is, who next?
Very good morning to you. It is Friday the 1st of August, 6:35. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark at the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby is with me right through until 10 o'clock. Of course, today, EFL action gets underway. Opening game in League One. Luton against Wimbledon this evening. Let's take a look ahead to the EFL action with the Fantasy EFL game.
EFL preview on talkSPORT with the Fantasy EFL game. 72 EFL clubs, 72 season tickets up for grabs. Download it today and use the code TSPORT12 to join the talkSPORT League.
Yeah, that's right. Today, seeing that return of league football, talkSPORT have got you covered. Of course, Leagues 1 and 2 are back. We're bringing commentary of that Luton-Wimbledon game tonight. It is live on talkSPORT 2. So to get you in the mood and up to date, let's hear some of our experts at talkSPORT with their League 1 players to watch.
My League One player to watch, I'm going to go with Malik Mothersill, who has recently left Peterborough United to go to Stockport County and score some fantastic goals. He's a really good, strong, physical target man. Let's see whether he can replace the goals that Louis Barry brought to Stockport and help the Hatters climb to the higher reaches of the League One table.
Mothersill brings it down, goes for goal and gives Peterborough United the lead.
One player to look out for in League One this season is central midfielder Ethan Erharon. He's just been signed by Bolton Wanderers from Lincoln City for around £750,000. He's a composed, quality holding midfielder. He can get the ball and give it and orchestrate from deep, but he can do a little bit of everything.
And the Bolton fans celebrate once again.
My League One player to watch may surprise a few actually, because it's a defender, but that's Luton Town's Christ Makosso. Every time I watched him play last season, he was solid. He's only 21, 6'4", hardly ever gets beaten.
Player to watch in League One, you can't look further than Richard Coney. If he's going to be in League One, that says a lot of interest. If he's there, you know what he's going to bring. He's got a presence, he brings goals, an exciting player to watch.
Richard Coney has just headed Wickham into the lead with just minutes remaining.
4 to watch here there. I'll give you another one. Doncaster Rovers are back in League One. Look out for Luke Molyneux, who started his career at Sunderland. Wherever he's been, he's always looked like he has been a cut above. He works his socks off. He's got a great strike on him. Good finisher. 18 goals in all competitions last season from a wide position as well. He's 27. Absolutely at his peak. Look out for Luke Molyneux. Yeah, and Jamie Sterry, I haven't forgotten you either. Who's also,
you know what
also a
I want
Dolly.
to look out for is Luton.
Yeah.
You know, the fall from grace of, like, yes, maybe overachieved, you can say, getting to the Premier League, but to go down, and you never know, do you, Jeff? If they struggle this season, imagine they get relegated again, and then you're down to League Two after being in the Premier League.
Yeah, look, it's massive. As it happens, I think they'll win the league. I think they'll win League One. But you're absolutely right. They've gone down 2 seasons in a row. But I like Matt Bloomfield a lot. He knows what's required there because he was at Wickham.
I hope they do, because it was just a great story, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Luton?
great. And they brought in a lot of experienced players. The likes of Naki Wells is there now, and George Saville, Carl Naismith, lost Alfie Doughty. Big loss for them, obviously. But I think they'll stop the rot. But you're right, could go either way.
Yeah.
Could easily
Fingers
go
crossed.
either way, mate. Yeah.
Big game tonight.
Yeah.
Big game.
Don't forget talkSPORT bringing you coverage of the EFL return this weekend. That big game that Gabby was referring to, Luton against Wimbledon, live on talkSPORT 2 tonight. And that was a look ahead to the EFL action with the fantasy EFL game. 72 EFL clubs, 72 season tickets up for grabs. Download it today. Use the code TSPORT12 to join the talkSPORT League.
EFL preview on talkSPORT with the Fantasy EFL game. 72 EFL clubs, 72 season tickets up for grabs. Download it today and use the code TSPORT12 to join the talkSPORT League.
Spurs won that North London derby in Hong Kong against Arsenal yesterday. Brilliant strike from Pap Sarr. talkSPORT resident Spurs fan Jamie O'Hara didn't get too carried away, though.
Glory, glory, Tottenham Hotspurs. Glory, glory, Tottenham Hotspurs. And the Spurs go marching on in Hong Kong.
I knew you would be on one today.
Can't believe we're mugging off Arsenal. We haven't even started the season yet. It's amazing.
Oh, Lord.
How are you, mate? You good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm better than Arsenal fans today.
Mate,
I know that.
if you're going to put a North London derby on in Hong Kong, mate, you can't go and lose that game before the season starts.
It's a friendly, you muppet. For goodness sake, it doesn't count one shot. Not one shot.
It really doesn't, Jeff. I think, the big thing for me as well is, even if Arsenal were desperate to get a goal to draw against Spurs, okay, that player, you played the amount of money, the amount of time wanting to play, you're off.
Yeah.
Saka, if you was on, okay, you played the right amount of football wanting to play until our next game, you're off. It's all about fitness, not about the result.
Yeah, completely. Yeah. Let's get the thoughts of Arsenal fan talkSPORT host Harry Simeo on this. Morning, Harry.
Good morning, Harry.
Morning, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, really good. Thanks, mate. I mean, look. From an Arsenal perspective, obviously, first glimpse of Victor Gyökeres, he only got, less than a quarter of an hour, didn't he? Did he make any impression on you?
Not really, but I suppose when you're kind of coming on for the last sort of 15 minutes of a game, and obviously he's not trained, has he, during pre-season? He's probably had a day or two with this Arsenal team in between the kind of travelling that they've been doing from Singapore to Hong Kong. So I'm not going to draw any conclusions about Victor Gyökeres based on that sort of brief cameo appearance. Good to finally see him in an Arsenal shirt and sort of out on the pitch representing the Gunners. But yeah, it's really difficult to sort of make any judgments on his performance. And as you guys were just saying there, it's a game that is primarily for fitness. I know it was against Spurs, and there's always a little bit of something when you play them from an Arsenal perspective, but we'll let them enjoy this one because they don't get too much to enjoy when they come up against us normally, do they?
Harry, I've got the squad of players Arsenal have got here. I've looked at it, 2 players per position, strong players per position. Is there any more that you want to add to this squad if you're an Arsenal fan? Let's talk about Eze. Jeff said earlier that maybe Trossard, because he's 30, will maybe the one he sacrificed rather than Martinelli. Would you agree on that?
Yeah, I think that's probably the club's thinking. If they have to move one of the left wingers on, it probably will be Trossard. He's got 1 year left on his contract as well. And there's been no no progress in terms of extending that or improving the terms that he's on. So he feels like the most likely exit. We read some reports last night from our very own Ben Jacobs saying that, you know, Arsenal had told anybody that had inquired about Martinelli that he was a no-go. So it does feel like Trossard would be the most likely to leave of the two. But, you know, Eze, I really like Eberechi Eze, and I think he'd be a great addition to the squad. I think Arsenal need a bit more creativity, a bit more spontaneity in the final third. But if we're talking about the left-hand side, because that's, I think, what a lot of fans identified as potentially a problem position last season, and going into pre-season, I think there's been nothing really to kind of change people's minds on that. My question would be, and as much as I want Eze, does he actually fix that issue? Is he going to be suited to playing off of that left-hand side in a team that is very right-sided leaning? Because, you know, Arsenal do try and work everything through Saka and Odegaard down that right-hand side. And on the left, they haven't quite got a conventional fullback in Lewis Skelly. He goes into midfield. So it feels to me like you need natural width on that left-hand side. And I don't know if Eze is the perfect fit for that. As much as I'd love him to come and worry about the issue of where he fits in later, I'm just not sure that that solves our problem on the left.
I mean, a lot of love on social media, by the way, yesterday from Arsenal fans for Reece Nelson, but it looks like he is on the way out of the club. Not much love from Spurs fans for Mikel Arteta, though. That clash with Pedro Porro, what did you make of it?
Yeah, it's just typical Mikel Arteta, isn't it? Friendly or not, he's well into it, and he's desperate to see his team perform and get the result that they're after. I mean, he was trying to say basically that Pedro Porro was taking the throw-in from sort of a few yards further forward than he should have been. I mean, a lot of people don't like that about Mikel Arteta, but for me, I mean, it's not really a big issue, is it? He's passionate, he's fired up, it's against Spurs. Nothing really developed from that situation. I'm sure they both shook hands after the game, and that was that. We keep saying that football's dead and we don't see the passion and that fire anymore, yet every time we see a little bit of that, people sort of want to jump on the back of it. So I'm absolutely fine with it.
Harry, what I can see happening, and he played on the left for Chelsea quite a lot in the last couple of seasons, especially last season. I can see Madueke playing a lot of games on the left because Gyökeres is a striker that is going to demand balls into the box. And if you're on that right-hand side, Saka likes to cut back in, you know, do his 1-2s with Odegaard. It wouldn't surprise me if Madueke is playing on that left-hand side to get crosses in for Gyökeres.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think when Madueke was signed, there was a lot of talk about him being a Bukayo Saka backup. I don't think you spend north of £50 million on a player just to come in and be a backup to someone who's probably going to play as long as he's fit most of your games. So I agree with you. I think Madueke's got a role to play from that left-hand side. I think, you know, we talk a lot about, you know, Arsenal's struggles to kind of create chances in the final third. And, you know, we maybe sort of fell into the trap of feeling a little bit downbeat after yesterday's game because we saw that again. But Gyökeres wasn't fit, Madueke wasn't available. And these are two players that you've brought in to try and aid you in the final third. If you can't use them yet, you can't really say that the business we've done isn't going to help. So let's see how it goes.
Harry, thanks very much.
Thank you, Harry. Top man.
Thanks, guys.
Now, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Find everything you need for your landscaping project in stock and available for delivery. Terms and conditions apply.
With just a month left in the transfer window, we want to hear from you this morning. So many teams still with a lot of work to do bringing players in. Come on, tell us how concerned you are about your team's transfer window so far. Everton, Palace, Villa, Bournemouth, Newcastle, the list goes on. Have your say this morning on what needs to happen at your club with a month to go. Give us a call. 03717 223344 is the number you need. Leave us a voice note on 81089. All that and more to come. And that was our look ahead with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Join the club and get low trade prices. Find out more at travisperkins.co.uk or download the app.
morning, 6:51, Friday the 1st of August. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby's with me today. Some of the headlines you're waking up to this morning. Max Verstappen's put an end to all the speculation surrounding his future by announcing he'll stay at Red Bull next season. Louis Rees-Zammit is leaving the NFL to return to playing rugby union 18 months after he quit to try and carve out a career playing American football. And India finished on 204 for 6 at the end of day one against England at the Oval. The day from an English perspective very much marred after Chris Woakes forced off with what looked like a dislocated shoulder. talkSPORT cricket reporter John Norman had this to say on Woakes' injury on talkSPORT's cricket podcast following on.
So there was half an hour of the day's play to go. It felt like there was still a couple more wickets in the offing. And then that Chris Woakes injury, just England were deflated, understandably, couldn't bowl, and now question marks over his test, and you know he's 36, and it looked horrible. So we are obviously going to be thinking about him a lot, but also from a pure game perspective, suddenly England have only got 3 seamers. And Jacob Bethel actually nearly picked up a wicket, right? But 3 seamers now, and they need to take 14 wickets, and of course Jacob Bethel. So if Karun Nair, who again I thought set up really well today, and Washington Sundar, who we know all about, suddenly India will think, well, 250 isn't possibly the worst result.
No, especially if conditions stay as they were yesterday, which it looks like they will do during the course of the day today. Chris Woakes won't be able to bat either, of course. Don't forget, if you're abroad, you can hear live coverage of that 5th test live on talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel. And now it's time for this. Hey, Max.
Good morning. Now, so we're bringing you some of the best of the front pages, the biggest news coming out of the newspapers this morning. Nothing from the Chancellor of the Exchequer, no updates from the MPs or Lords. The most important story today, massive day today actually, I'm sure you're all aware, I'm sure every boyfriend worth his salt knows that today it's National Girlfriend Day, the 25th installation of the important day. Now, I will say, I did not write this story. I did a little bit of research on National Girlfriend Day, and it came up with this utter woke nonsense. It says, while the term girlfriend often suggests a romantic partner, National Girlfriend's Day is not limited just to that context. Of course, it also acknowledges the role of best friends, roommates, colleagues, and others who form an important part of a woman's emotional world. What do you think of National Girlfriend Day? Is it something that you're going to be celebrating?
Absolute garbage. When's National Boyfriend Day?
Well, funnily enough, we have a National Girlfriend Day in the middle of summer, National Boyfriend Day Friday in October.
Wow.
Cold nights, wet nights, says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Says it all.
We'll skip past
It's not Black Friday, is it? No, look, it's a load of old nonsense, isn't it? It's a bit like all of the other contrived pieces. Valentine's Day, for goodness sake. What absolute
There's that
nonsense
many of the
that
days.
is.
There's anniversaries, there's birthdays.
Mother's Day,
wouldn't you?
Father's Day, Grandmother's Day,
Soon
Grandfather's
it'll
Day.
be one a month.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, I've got to save every month for like National Girlfriend's Day, Valentine's Day, anniversary, birthday, Christmas.
Yeah.
Thankfully,
take my advice, ignore them all.
Yeah, well, thankfully my girlfriend has no idea that it's National Girlfriend's Day.
Good.
And hopefully she's not listening. Gabby, have you got any advice though, Mr. Loverboy? You got any advice for boyfriends all over the country that might want to celebrate this and partake in this utter nonsense?
I would. My advice would be, when you finish work this evening, go home, maybe some flowers, then go out with your mates on to the pub.
Put the EFL on the radio.
Yeah, put talkSPORT on and listen to Luton versus Wimbledon.
Absolutely, that's going to be a belt to that, by the way.
Looking forward to it.
I love it. I've been to see Wimbledon a couple of times since I moved down to London. Great fan base.
Yes.
Hope they do well. Right, off the back of that, we got some in the spirit of utter woke nonsense. Gen Zers have rated Love Island as the top cultural moment of the year. They snubbed Wimbledon, Glasgow Festival, Lionesses' back-to-back Euros triumph to say that the most iconic moment of the year came on the dating show. and that got 44% of the vote between 18 and 28-year-olds. Also, a quarter of Gen Zers view the Love Island water bottle, which I'm led to believe is a bottle that they're all given with their name on it, is now one of Britain's modern cultural artefacts, as well as a Greggs sausage roll. I mean, you talk about games gone. The country's gone, boys.
The country's gone.
And by the way, Helena's gone as well because she was voted out last night as a real blow. I mean, you know, it's one of those rare occasions where obviously I'm down there with the kids.
do you watch it, Gabby?
No.
Are you an avid viewer?
I used to watch it like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but not now, mate.
No.
Yeah, because it's a bit staged, isn't it? It's a bit, you know what's going to happen, don't you?
Well, you know what? Go on, Jeff.
I was going to say, Max, I tell you what, if those who do watch it, Harry. If today is National Girlfriend Day, it's going to cost Harry an absolute fortune because there is nobody that he hasn't been out with.
Oh, Jeff, I love the fact.
Oh, he is. He's a proper Casanova.
So would you vote it as one of the top cultural moments?
No, it's not cultural. I like to tell people I watch it because it's a social experiment. But that's just not true, you know?
But that seems to be the goal now, doesn't it?
I know.
Go on Love Island.
Well, I mean,
become a Molly May.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Try and get the
try and become
deals.
a Jamie O'Hara.
Okay. Oh yeah.
You know,
Big Brother.
He's had his time on the old dating show. Would you do it for the packet, Gab?
No, mate. No. What packet?
You get a load of money.
Oh, okay. No, not for me, mate. I don't think I'll do very well on it either, mate. I think I'll be out.
Do you reckon I reckon you become one of the nation's favourite hunks.
I'd go and take me out. That'd be a laugh.
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, all the lights go off.
And then finally, we've got one from Stephen Fry. He said, let's leave the future jobs to robots. He welcomes robots and AI, claims humans aren't supposed to work. He says work is not a natural condition of humanity in the sense of a 9 to 5.
Is this a quote from Alan Brazil?
This is Stephen Fry.
Oh, Stephen Fry, sorry.
I mean, it's easy for him to say, multi-million-pound. I mean, absolute legend, by the way, but he doesn't have to work. What would you mind having a robot doing the chores in the kitchen? I mean, what do you make of all this AI stuff replacing jobs? I can't say I like going to work.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? You know, work's a huge part of people's lives.
Yes.
You know, and it's not just about the work, it's the social side of it.
Exactly.
You know, and from a mental health perspective, that's absolutely massive. So,
this Gen Z, whatever generation, what age is it?
I think it's up to 28, I believe.
I'll just get rid of them.
Yeah, replace them with robots then.
Yeah, we can replace them with AI.
Replace them with old school robots that are like us, Jeff.
Yeah. By the way, Ed, the Wimbledon fans, just texted in. Morning to you, Ed. He said, I've already told my missus we are watching the mighty Wombles this evening. National Girlfriend Day. Tosh.
Yes.
Ed,
Box of chocolates.
You echo our views. No question about that. You got your girlfriend anything?
No, I haven't, just because she doesn't know it's National Girlfriend Day, you know.
Mate.
So what she can't.
But she does now.
Well, she won't be listening. Well, she doesn't know, can't Jeff? And we'll go down to the pub, watch the AFL, have a pint.
Lovely.
Max, thanks very much. Coming up, we turn our attention back to football. Thank goodness the Sheffield Wednesday situation continues to get worse, and we'll bring you the latest next.
England may well have to play the rest of the deciding fifth test against India Ebola light. It's thought Chris Woakes has dislocated his shoulder.
Chase on for Woakes at long off, and he pulls the ball down and he hasn't got up again. Oh, I don't know about this, Jeremy. I think we might have a problem here.
India closed day one on 204 for 6. Well, today at the Oval, there'll be a chance to remember Graham Thorpe, who tragically took his own life last year. Ben Stokes says it'll be special for Graham's family to see how much he meant to people.
Thorpe's been a very influential character as a player and as a coach in English cricket. You know, a few of us in that dressing room now have spent a lot of time around him when we were younger, coming through the ranks.
Play starts at 11 a.m. Elsewhere, talkSPORT understands Arsenal have no plans to trigger Eberechi Eze's £68 million release clause before it expires tonight. But the Gunners are still interested in signing the Palace talisman. talkSPORT's Ben Jacobs is on this one.
The expectation is still they'll bid at some point between now and the end of the window and lower than this soon-to-be expiring release clause. And as a consequence, it will fall on Crystal Palace because once the clause is gone, they can shut the door. They can demand that the previous active clause is matched.
Transfer rumours are continuing to swirl around Alexander Isak as he trained with his former club Real Sociedad. Former Newcastle man Darren Ambrose says the Magpies have been left in a lose-lose situation.
Previously was stating that 300 grand a week is what he's asking. I think he's on around 120, so double and a half that what he wants is an increase. So Bruno Guimaraes, Anthony Gordon, Joe Linton, Tonali, they're all going to say, well, where's our new contract? But then if they accept this as well and let him go, there's still time left. A few of those players again might go, well, where's the ambition of this club? Like, I want out as well.
And it's time to come home. That's the message from Louis Rees-Zammit. He's giving up on his dream to play in the NFL. The announcement will have rugby clubs everywhere on alert. As ever, there's plenty more on this story and others at talksport.com.
Very good morning to you. It's 7:05. Can you believe it? It's August already. August the 1st. The EFL returns today. League One game tonight. Luton against Wimbledon. Very much looking forward to that. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with the Arnold Clark app. Buy a car, opt into Arnold Clark Rewards and enjoy great access to great giveaways and everyday perks. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. Going to be talking about one of his old clubs in a moment or two.
Sheffield
Wednesday. Yeah. Just before we do that, Wednesday, of course, are one of the crisis clubs at the moment. The other one are Morecambe. And the latest news on Morecambe, you know, is even worse, to be honest. The prospective buyers, who are the Punjab Warriors and the Shrimps Trust, have announced that as of Monday, it's 3 days away, as of Monday, the club is officially shut.
Wow.
A statement says there is no pounds in the bank and no cash on site. means operations cannot continue. Senior staff have made the heartbreaking decision to stop working. And, you know, I can see a way out of things for Sheffield Wednesday. I can't see a way out of things for Morecambe. You know, they've been suspended by the National League until August the 20th, by which time they should have played 3 games, which they won't have played. This is 105 years of history, and to my mind, Gabby, it's all down to Jason Whittingham, who's the man who owns them, who seemingly will not sell, but also those at the EFL who decided that Jason Whittingham was a fit and proper person to take control of the football club, and they have to take some responsibility. They're not an EFL club anymore, they're a National League club, but it was the EFL's judgment that Jason Whittingham was a fit and proper person.
But as well, Jeff, these owners that sometimes own football clubs do not realise what football means to towns. Small towns, cities, whoever it is, your local football club you love. Look at you and the passion you have about yours.
Yeah.
And to let it go bust. I mean, people are saying Tyson Fury should just go and buy it. You know, here's $3 million, go and buy it. But why should he? If he doesn't want to, he's got no reason he has to go and buy it. But in this day and age, to hear that shocking news.
Yeah, it is shocking news. And I just hope there's a way out of it as far as Morecambe are concerned. Because I've been there, and it's easy to say, but it's a really nice club. They did some very nice things to me when I was on one of my prostate cancer marches. Yeah. And they used to have an old battle axe playing up front called Kevin Ellison, who was always a thorn in the Hartlepool side. He's the sort of player that, you know, you never wanted to have to come up against. You gave him all sorts of stick, but oh boy, would you have loved him in your team?
Yeah,
you know,
defender scared of.
Absolutely brilliant. But look, it's not just Morecambe. Let's talk about Sheffield Wednesday as well. Their behind closed doors friendly against Burnley, scheduled for this weekend, has been called off. Staff on and off the pitch haven't been paid. The players don't want to play without payment. Surprise, surprise. Joining us now for more on the situation is the chief sports reporter at The Mail, Mike Keegan. Morning, Mike.
Good morning, Mike.
Good gents.
Right, so obviously this behind closed doors friendly being called off is one thing, Mike, but what about the start of the season? You know, Sheffield Wednesday going to have a side to put out for their opening game?
It seems to be getting worse and worse by the day, Jeff. The situation now is that the EFL are extremely concerned about the situation, and there are doubts that they will be able to fulfil the fixture against Leicester, which is coming up a week on Sunday. It's just, you know, Gabby was talking then about what it means, what your local club means to you. And I'm an Oldham fan, and we've had similar. And for Sheffield Wednesday, you know, it's probably the biggest that we've seen. For me, it's the biggest club outside the Premier League, which, as things transpire, might be a good thing as Chansiri looks to sell. But, you know, I think this is probably... We've had a lot of these situations, unfortunately. You talked about Morecambe, but I think this is probably the biggest one yet, Jeff.
Like you said there, I mean, Mike, I was at Sheffield Wednesday on loan. I mean, I spent 4 or 5 months there when I was 19 before I broke into the Villa team. And the fan base, the people of Sheffield that love that football club. Look at the stadium, Hillsborough. I think I heard earlier in the week that one of the stands can't be open. Is that right, this season? It's an absolute shambles is what's happening. And a club of that size, if it can happen to them, it must be scary for so many other big clubs.
Absolutely. And as it stands, you're right, the North Stand, which is the one opposite the main stand, 9,000 Sheffield Wednesday fans are supposed to sit in there. And as things stand, you know, these people have bought season tickets. You're not allowed in. And it's just, you know, he sold a player for 1.5 million, Caelan Cole-Cadamartri. You know, it's a 15-year-old kid. Should be a great moment for their academy. You know, this is what we're here to do. You know, we bring these players through, and if we can get clubs like Manchester City interested, then we make money for the football club. But you know, they're at a situation now where any money that they're making is going straight to the EFL, and it's not going to Sheffield Wednesday. It's going to pay off people that they owe. So it's just an absolute mess. You know, Burnley had offered to pay for their hotel and their accommodation for the players to come play this behind closed doors friendly, and it's now, you know, 3 months in a row when the wages have been late. 4 months in 5 that this has happened, and the players that remain, because obviously that's the situation now. Manager's gone. The players that remain have just said enough is enough, and nobody can blame them.
I mean, the problem is Mike, is the club effectively is being held to ransom by the owner. Now, as an Oldham fan, you would know you were fortunate enough to have a sort of local benefactor who could come along and save the day. There aren't many local Sheffield Wednesday fans, I would imagine, who can find £100 million, which is what Mr. Shansiri seems to be asking for the club.
Exactly that, Jeff. And it's not just the 100 million. I think anybody looking at coming in and buying it is going to look at the additional costs on top of that. I mean, the stadium is well documented, the state of the stadium. In an ideal world, you'd build a new one, and probably even with a bigger capacity, because that's the potential of Sheffield Wednesday. This is a huge football club, but the situation that they're in, it needs somebody. We were fortunate at Oldham. We were in a mess, but because it's Oldham, we were talking, the debts were a few million, the family that have come in and put in about 20 million quid. That's at our level, 20 million quid. But Sheffield Wednesday is an absolute, entirely different proposition. You need somebody with seriously deep pockets. You're talking even, I know it's a massive debate in football about nation-state ownerships, but you're almost talking that level of funding to get this thing going.
What else is frustrating for the Sheffield Wednesday fans? How amazing was it when they got promoted from League One to the Championship after so many years? And they're probably thinking, okay, maybe a couple of seasons, and why not try and get back into the Premier League where we belong? And look what's happening now. They've got to be one of the favourites to get relegated. They must be.
Absolutely. It's not going to be an easy start, obviously, at Leicester, because they're, I was looking at the odds. I think they're 15, 16 to 1 to go up, so it'll be a difficult start for them. It's whether, I think the priority at the moment, rather than staying up, is getting a team out there. And it's, as you say, the incredible playoff comeback against Peterborough, Hillsborough, absolutely bouncing that night. We often get these glimpses of what Sheffield Wednesday can be. And to be fair to the owner, he has had a decent go at it. They've come close to getting into the Premier League, and obviously if that happens, how things can change. But the reality of the situation is where we're at now. And without wanting to keep going back to my club, the only way that the fans got the owner out was to start disrupting games, throwing tennis balls on the pitch, getting on the pitch, protesting. Now, you don't want to condone that kind of stuff, but this guy is playing with Sheffield Wednesday's life. And the longer this goes on, the more dangerous that gets. So at some point, and it is, an incredibly loyal, huge fan base, at some point, they've got to think about stepping things up and what they can do to try and force this guy to do what's right for the club.
Which, Mike, is exactly what they did at Reading as well. Obviously, look, doomsday case scenario here. We're talking about them locking the gates at Morecambe. That's not a possibility at Sheffield Wednesday, is it?
I mean, some of the players did end up getting paid yesterday. I don't think it's in anyone's interests, to see a club of this size go out of business. If that happens, Jeff, nobody gets paid. And the guy at the top, who we all, want to sell the club, doesn't get anything back. So you would like to think that this is a situation that's going to get resolved. But yeah, as we sit here today, there is a very real threat that one of English football's great institutions is on the brink.
Wow. Grim news indeed. Mike, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Mike.
News, gents.
Top man.
And when you think of that club and the players that mentioned this yesterday, Chris Waddle and David Hurst, Benny Carboni, do you remember him? Paolo Di Canio.
I remember growing up, Jeff, and was it that final they had? Was it against Arsenal or Liverpool?
I can't remember.
And you're talking like early 90s.
Right, yeah.
And Sheffield Wednesday are a big club.
Yeah. Massive club.
And to think where they're at now.
Massive support,
Like when I was there, I had a family I stayed with, big Sheffield Wednesday fans, sort of dig sort where I stayed in. And I'm sure most of the city, not most city, but a large proportion, more than Sheffield United, are Sheffield Wednesday fans.
Yeah. Distressing times for Sheffield Wednesday fans and Morecambe fans, thanks to the Daily Mail's chief football correspondent, Mike Keegan. Next, we'll be finding out why Adi Akinfenwa refused to fight at a charity boxing event next. 7:20. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. We're here through until 10 o'clock. Now, Jamie O'Hara was joined on the sports bar by a certain Adi Akinfenwa, and as you can imagine, he was full of great stories, including this one, where he seemed to bottle a certain boxing bout because, wait for it, his opponent was Duncan Ferguson. Have a listen to this.
I don't know if Dunk was a beast.
No, he was a beast.
No, he was a beast. What am I chatting about?
I mean, Big Dunk was coming here out. Someone tried
What
to
am I
rob his
chatting
house.
about, brother?
He done both.
I remember they asked him, would I get into the ring with Dunk? And I said, no, that's how much of a beast he was. Yeah.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, man.
They want to get in the ring.
That's what they... Oh, and I said, no.
What are you on about?
They said, hell no.
Hold on. So, you got asked to do a boxing match with Duncan Ferguson.
Yeah, so they asked...
That didn't come around.
They gave me a list. So they gave me a list of, like, footballers.
Yeah.
And out of all of them, I was like, Dunk can stay over there, brother. Dunk can stay over there, brother. I don't want no smoke with you, Dunk. It's cool. But I hear the stories. When man them try and rob him, he sat both of them down and said, you ain't going nowhere. Police will come see you, and they stayed. I don't want none of that. Hey, brother, I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah, well, you'd never, Gabby, you wouldn't go anywhere near a boxing ring with Duncan Ferguson, would you?
No, thank you.
No,
not even if he had dislocated shoulder or one of the arm. No.
Remember the look that Jimmy Bullard gave him in that game?
No. We had him in here like a couple of months ago, and he still looks scary and strong.
Yeah,
even at his age now.
He has always been scary and strong.
Yes.
Look, we talked about Sheffield Wednesday and Morecambe. Got a text in here and said it's happening all too often in sport at elite levels. It's a different sport. Last night, Salford Red Devils fielded a team of 17 academy players after many first-teamers refused to play following the late payment once again from the owners. They ended up getting pumped by 74 points at home to Hull KR. This is elite-level sport. How is this allowed to happen? More due diligence is needed.
I don't blame him.
Yeah. No,
I don't blame him.
I don't. That's an anonymous text, but he's absolutely right. More due diligence is definitely needed.
100%, Jeff. And we just said it before we come back on. Don't mess about with my money.
Yeah.
Players, staff, standing orders, need to pay for their food, need to pay for bills. You can't be not paying and thinking it's okay as owners.
Yeah. If you want a bit of optimism, Gribbo, the Charlton fan, says, keep the faith, Morecambe Wednesday fans. We went from a disgruntled owner to outright criminals, then to well-meaning owners who didn't know how to invest their money. And now, finally, we have a group of investors who not only have the money to invest, but also know how to invest it. Gribbo, thanks very much indeed. Now, the Premier League just a couple of weeks away. Most fans going into the season with high expectations. Those high expectations can quickly disappear, of course. We've seen in previous seasons it doesn't take long for managers to become under pressure. So Gabby's been taking a look at managers that he thinks could be under serious pressure if their seasons start badly. Gabby, who's your first one?
First one, Graham Potter. I look at their start to the season, Sunderland away. That'll be some atmosphere for Sunderland.
Yeah.
First home game of the season. After that, they play Chelsea at home, Nottingham Forest away. I mean, Chelsea at home. Chelsea squad of players, playing them early. Is that what you want to do? After that, Spurs at home, which is a derby for them. Dislike each other as football clubs. And then Crystal Palace at home. I could easily see, Jeff, 1 point from the first 5 games, easily. Sunderland away, a point. Chelsea at home, Nottingham Forest away, Spurs at home, Crystal Palace at home. It's a very tough start.
If it was 1 point, worst case scenario, you don't change your manager after 5 games, do you?
No, not at all. No chance of changing him, but the pressure will be on because these fans have gone from winning a European trophy, big trophy parade in London, to disappointing last season, finishing in 14th place. And then, are they getting the players they want in? Kudus leaving. Okay, how are you going to spend that money? Who are you bringing in? Because you've got Bowen, you've got Paqueta now. Hopefully he's going to be the Paqueta that we all know. Fulkrug, I'm not sure he's the right man to score the goals. We don't know how Mikel Antonio is going to be after that horrific crash that he was involved in. So I just look at that squad of players. Somerville, how's he going to be after a long-term injury?
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to be the player that they signed from Leeds? So I think there's a lot of questions and they need a lot of business done in the next month.
Yeah. Who else?
So next one I've gone for is Manchester United. I think Ruben Amorim brought in Cunha, brought in Mbeumo. talk about Donnarumma, which I find baffling.
It's not going to happen.
Andy
That's not going to
Goldstein's
happen.
winding me up, trying to say he's coming. I'm like, no
There's
chance.
no chance. You know how much he earns?
What?
£11 million
And
a
he
year.
wants more, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's why he's not
and he's
signing.
got 1 year left on his contract at PSG. And this is the agent cranking things up to try and pressurise PSG to pay even more. So he's not going to be.
I don't think it's happening. But
Šeško might do.
yeah, I think Šeško will. I think he will choose Manchester United over Newcastle, which is going to be frustrating for Newcastle fans. But I just look at Manchester United start as well, Jeff. Arsenal at home. I mean, Arsenal are going to be flying, I would imagine, at home. Fulham away, tough game. Burnley at home. You expect Manchester United to get a result there. Man City away, Chelsea at home. I'm excited to see Cunha and Mbeumo, but I still think goalkeeper. Do they need another goalkeeper? Onana, I don't think he's the answer. Defensively as well. Who's Manchester United's back four? Who's their best back four? Nobody knows. Casemiro, can he be playing as many games next season? Where's Fernandes going to play? So Manchester United have still got problems. I think the pressure will be on Ruben Amorim.
Yeah, I do think they need to strengthen that defence
100%.
still. You know, all the emphasis has been on forward players. But they need to strengthen that defence
Exactly.
as well. Anybody else, Gabs?
So I think Brentford, and I do worry for Brentford. I really do. I mean, they're a very, very... I was going to say... It's just, when you look at Mbeumo leaving, you're saying, Wissa, okay, we cannot sell him. Now you're seeing Wissa reports, allegedly, that he doesn't want to train. He's trying to fall through a move. We've seen it too often now from players, Jeff. You can't lose both of them. You've got a manager who's never managed before in football, Keith Andrews. Pressure's on already.
After losing Norgard as well.
Exactly. After losing Thomas Frank, the pressure's on already. Never mind losing your captain Norgard. And Mbeumo's left. And also, there's a great chance that Wissa will leave. If not, will he have toys out the pram and not the same player because he didn't get the move? So I look at their start as well. Brentford, Forest away, Aston Villa at home, Sunderland away, Chelsea at home, Fulham away. And the business that Sunderland have done in this transfer window, over 120 million spent, I was thinking to myself, who is the one team that Sunderland, Burnley and Leeds might be able to catch next season? And I'm sorry, Brentford fans, Natalie Sawyer, if you're listening, but I think that team might be Brentford.
Nicholas says Donnarumma might leave PSG because they brought Lucas Chevalier, who's a promising goalkeeper, played for Lille last season. Absolutely promising goalkeeper. France's number 2. Get that completely.
He was outstanding, though, Donnarumma. The saves against Villa, against Arsenal, all the way through, to be honest.
Look, Donnarumma might leave PSG. He might leave PSG, but he's not leaving PSG for Old Trafford because they are not paying that sort of money for a goalkeeper.
I think he's leaving PSG. He must be going to the only place they can pay more.
Saudi. Yeah. Just quickly, I've got one.
Yeah.
You might not agree with this.
Don't say Aston Villa.
No, I'm not.
Oh, phew.
Chelsea fans. World Club Cup winners spent a fortune. Enzo Maresca needs to deliver because now he's under pressure because there'll be expectation on him. And you talk about starts. There are 4 London derbies in their first 4 games. And then Man United away, Brighton at home, Liverpool at home, and Forest away. I mean, it's a tough start. And they've not had much of a break.
But do you think the pressure will be on after he's won the Club World Cup?
Yeah.
And they're in the Champions League.
I do, because if they start poorly, I think people will be saying, we expect more than that, because people do expect more than that of Chelsea now.
Well, I have this argument, Jeff, on here, and I think we've had it with guests that have come on, and everyone just seems with Chelsea, oh no, it's a project, give them time, they shouldn't be going for the title next season, top 4's great again. I'm like, the money they're spending, every time I flick through my Twitter, they're buying a new player. It's Simmons, it's a new defender, it's this player, it's Gittins, it's they're spending so much money, and yes, they do well with sales. Felix getting 40-odd mil for, and Kunku will go as well. They do good business, but when it's going to come to Chelsea should be in a title race?
As Club World Cup winners, and having gone out there and done brilliantly, done what they did at PSG, I don't care about the fact that it was a summer tournament. It was absolutely a spectacular display as far as they're concerned. So Chelsea will be expected to produce in the Premier League. Enzo
100%.
Maresca will be expected to produce in the Premier League as well. Look, I'm not saying he's going to get sacked after 8 games or anything like that. And in actual fact, they might have a terrific start. Those London derbies, Palace at home, West Ham away, Fulham at home, Brentford away. They could win them all.
Yes.
They could win them all. Who knows? But if they don't, I'm just saying that he would be under pressure.
agree.
Somebody's just texted me and said, Maresca needs to deliver. Didn't he just deliver the World Cup? No, he didn't deliver the World Cup. It was the World Club Championship, a very different beast indeed.
Quickly, Jeff, what do you think about Brentford?
Are
you worried for them?
Yeah, I am. But look, Keith Andrews, unproven. But he might turn out to be as good as Thomas Frank. He might turn out to be better than Thomas Frank.
But what if he doesn't?
Well,
will questions be asked?
They
like,
could
why
have
did you give him the
issues.
job?
I think they've upgraded their goalkeeper. They brought in a new goalkeeper. People will have a dig at me. They've brought in Jordan Henderson and all of his experience, which might well count, not just on the pitch, but around the club as well, when you've got a new young manager. So we shall see. It's a fairy story, isn't it? The bus stop in Hounslow. And there's always going to be a point, isn't there, where that fairy story has some difficult twists, and this season might be one of those.
Yeah.
We shall see. Thanks, Gabs. Coming up, how on earth can you still be playing football at the age of 49? We'll speak to the legendary EFL striker Jamie Curran next.
England may well have to play the rest of the deciding fifth test against India Ebola light. It's thought Chris Woakes has dislocated his shoulder.
Chase on for Woakes at long off, and he pulls the ball down and he hasn't got up again. Oh, I don't know about this, Jeremy. I think we might have a problem here.
India closed day one on 204 for 6. Well, today at the Oval, there'll be a chance to remember Graham Thorpe, who tragically took his own life last year. Ben Stokes says it'll be special for Graham's family to see how much he meant to people.
Thorpe's been a very influential character as a player and as a coach. You know, a few of us in that dressing room now have spent a lot of time around him when we were younger, coming through the ranks.
Play starts at 11 a.m. Elsewhere, talkSPORT understands Arsenal have no plans to trigger Eberechi Eze's £68 million release clause before it expires tonight. But the Gunners are still interested in signing the Palace talisman. talkSPORT's Ben Jacobs is on this one.
The expectation is still they'll bid at some point between now and the end of the window and lower than this soon-to-be expiring release clause. And as a consequence, it will fall on Crystal Palace because once the clause is gone, they can shut the door. They can demand that the previous active clause is matched.
As ever, there's plenty more on this story and others at talksport.com.
This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Build your own car deal online or with a few clicks. They make buying your next car easy. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby's with me today. You've only got a few days left, of course, to enter our huge prize draw to win 10 grand. And more importantly, a VIP night out at Coldplay at Wembley. That's right, we're giving you the chance to win 6 tickets in a private box for you and your mates on August the 22nd with full hospitality. We're chucking in that 10 grand spending money. It's tax-free too, but it all ends on Monday. So here's how to enter. 18 plus UK, excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word WIN to 83338 by the 4th of August at 11 p.m. and you're in the draw. Test costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission, or you can post your name and number to Coldplay Competition, PO Box 3190, Colchester CO2 8GP, and that has to arrive by 5 p.m. on the 7th of August. This is a TalkSPORT Limited promotion run on TalkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. Love a bit of Coldplay. I'm not sure I've got 5 friends that could take with me, though, am I?
At least it's a private box as well, Jeff.
Absolutely.
Stay in the box.
Yeah.
Hide.
A couple of texts in. One was about the issue. Kev, the Pompey fan, says, Jeff, it's not the EFL, just the EFL. When Pompey were in the Premier League, we had awful diligence. Chairman officially passed the process to ruin the club. But a lot of people are going to come on and say the same thing. So many clubs have had experiences of poor owners, that's for sure. Look, let's talk to look at a really positive story, a fantastic story, actually, because this morning we're building up to the return of the EFL, of course. Luton against Wimbledon tonight, live on TalkSPORT 2. But don't forget the glorious non-league. That kicks off next weekend. National League kicks off. Hartlepool, nice short trip away to Yeovil. Mid-August.
Staying overnight, night before.
Oh, goodness knows. You can imagine what the roads are going to be like going down to the southwest.
Good luck.
On August the 9th. But what a great story we have for you this morning. Listen to this. Jamie Curran, these days of Cambridge City, is building up for another season of football. Well, what's so special about that, you might ask? Well, what's so special is it would be his 32nd consecutive season. Wow. Career that spanned 22 clubs, 3 promotions, 3 relegations, 9 tiers of English football. Jamie's now player-manager with Cambridge City and is not hanging up his boots even as he approaches the age of 50. Big 5-0. And I'm delighted to say that Jamie joins us now. Morning, Jamie.
Good morning, Jamie.
Good morning. Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, Gabby.
I hope we haven't made you feel too old with that intro, mate.
No, it's okay. I'm used to the age. As you get older throughout the years, you just get used to it. So I'm quite happy to be turning 50 and still being able to sort of run around and be healthy and, enjoy life. So, yeah, it's fun.
What keeps you going?
I think just the love of football. I've always loved playing from a kid, and I've always said I'd have played in a park if I didn't become a professional. So I think just the drive of wanting to still be fit and healthy as a person, and it's allowed me to sort of carry on playing.
What's it like as well, being a player manager as well? Because I feel if I was, any mistake I make, it's someone else's fault. How do you control that?
I was like that anyway when I played. So I've sort of slowed down playing over the last couple of years, and felt that it's not about me anymore. And I've got young players that want to progress their careers and want to play. So I haven't put myself in front of any of them. And when I first started, I got I had to sort of control my emotions at halftime and stuff. If I was playing and I wasn't having a good game, I could tend to take it out on the group. So you sort of get used to controlling yourself and maybe taking a bit more time at halftime when you speak, just to sort of calm yourself down. But you get used to it, and it is tough. But like I say, as the years have gone on, I've slowly stopped playing and just played every now and then when I feel I'm needed.
I saw you said that you've got a young squad at Cambridge City, Jamie, and you're older than some of their dads. So do some of these young whippersnappers, do they give you a bit of stick?
Yeah, of course. I've had it even when I was playing in the league at sort of 40. You always get sort of nicknames of uncle and fossil. I got called everything. And the young boys that I have now are still the same, but it's quite nice that they sit down and want to talk about your career and understand what you did and how you got there and how they can progress. So you sort of become a role model and try and help them along, whether it's in football or in life in general. So I'm used to the stick. It's all good banter, but hopefully I'm leading in the right way, and however I can help them, is a bonus for me.
And also, like you said there, that the young players that are coming through, you want them to get more game time because they want to progress their careers. Mm-hmm. What is it like being a manager? Do you know what I mean? Because you see these young players coming through, and you will know straight away with your career, okay, I know which players have got a chance of going up the leagues and having a good career in the game.
You do. You can spot them straight away. I think you'll know, Gab. Once you see certain players at certain ages, you understand the talent they have, but it's more about the drive and their attitude towards the game and training. And obviously in non-league we only train twice a week, Tuesday, Thursday, and play on a Saturday, so you don't get a lot of time with them. But in pre-season that we've had now, I've brought in 3 or 4 of the under-18s, and sort of 2 or 3 are now pushing. We've got our FA Cup game tomorrow, and I can have 7 subs, and potentially 2 or 3 of my sort of 17, 18-year-olds will be involved. So it's important, especially at our club, that we push through the youth.
Yes.
And we can try and progress them, and hopefully they do well. And we've already had sort of league clubs looking at a few of the youngsters already, because at 17 they're playing men's football, which is more than the most academy players are doing at the same age. So for me, once I joined the club, it was important that the youth was used, and it's as long as they're good enough. I won't do it for the sake of it, but I think we've got a good group. The youth set up is good, and we try and push them as much as possible without overexposing them. It's important that we don't push them too soon, and they get up in men's football and suddenly they feel they're not good enough. But yeah, we've got 2 or 3 that I feel can maybe push on, and if we get them into our first team and they're playing regular men's football, we know that league clubs will come around, and hopefully I've helped and can push them on in their careers.
Jamie, look, 22 clubs, including one in Korea, by the way. Do you have a sort of favourite spell? I mean, I was looking through, was it Bristol Rovers? I think you were there with Ollie, or Reading, or Exeter. Yeah. What was your favourite period?
I suppose my actual favourite period was probably Reading, where I had 3 very good years of winning promotion, a playoff, 2 playoffs, 1 playoff semi, 1 playoff final. I won a Golden Boot as well. So I think as a spell over 3 years, that was probably my best. But favourite clubs, I think between Norwich, Reading and Bristol Rovers, I think they were the longest I'd stayed at a club, and probably the best periods I'd had. But I've got fond memories of all the clubs I've played for, whether I've had good spells or bad. There isn't anyone where I look back and think, I wish I didn't join. I've enjoyed every moment, and I think the reason the clubs have totted up is because you get to certain ages and you only get offered a year contract, and you're then constantly trying to stay in the game. So you tottle up clubs, and then since I've dropped into non-league, been the same. But I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think non-league has helped me in my process of when I come out of professional football, to have still football in my life, whether it was 3 days a week. I think if I'd have stopped at 35 and never played again, I'd have probably been in a bit of trouble. But mentally, non-league has helped me a lot, and there's a lot of good teams, and it's a very good pyramid of football, and you can see now a lot of young players are sort of progressing from non-league into the football league.
Jamie, you scored more than once against Hartlepool, but we'll forgive you. We'll forgive you for that. It's great to talk to you. Yes, have a great season.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on,
really
mate.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Amazing story. The legendary AFL striker there, man, still playing at 49, Jamie Curtin. For context,
I'm sorry.
Go on.
Can I carry on?
I was going to say for context, other footballers, or ex-footballers who are 49, Ruud van Nistelrooy, Patrick Vieira, Shevchenko. And Jamie Curran's the same age, and he's still playing.
My hips, my calves, my hamstring, my back just ache.
Yeah.
Thinking about playing the 11-a-side game, Jeff, at 38, never mind 49.
Sean from Preston says, Preston North End want to sign Jamie as one to develop. Yeah, very funny, Sean. Thank you. Right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. From excavators to skips or cement mixers to pressure washers, Travis Perkins Hire has all your landscaping needs covered.
We'll be asking legendary snooker champion and Everton snooker superfan John Parrott whether he fears they could spend their first season in the new stadium in a relegation battle. And Australia rugby legend Matt Giteau tells us why the idea of this being the last Lions tour down under is complete nonsense. And that was our look ahead with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. It's easy to hire at Travis Perkins with a Travis Perkins trade account.
7:50, Friday the 1st of August. Good morning to you. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby Agbonlahor is with me as well. We were talking a bit earlier on about sides who, managers who are a bit approved at the start of a season. Johnny's just texting. He's a Man United fan. He said, should be a 2 weeks wage fine for any player at United who says the word titles or trophies. Shut your mouths. Start by working hard and keeping your head down. You are nowhere near it. Miles off it, says Johnny, a United fan from Stirling. Thank you very much for that, Johnny. Some of the headlines you're waking up to: England bowler Chris Woakes looks likely to be ruled out of the remainder of the decisive fifth test against India. Well, he's certainly going to be out of that decisive fifth test against India after picking up that dislocated shoulder on the opening day at the Oval. Lucas Paqueta has been cleared of spot-fixing charges by an independent regulatory commission. Took them almost 2 years to sort that out. And could Newcastle's painful transfer window get a bit easier? Brentford striker Johan Wissa continues to train away from the first team amid uncertainty over his future and interest from multiple rival clubs, Newcastle being one of them. But former Newcastle boss Alan Pardew isn't sure about him.
I can't see that one. I don't see where he fits in. I don't think he's a replacement for Isaac. Whether he's the backup, would Wiz want to be a backup?
I wouldn't have thought so.
No, nor me.
Competition.
I think Alan was asking the question, really. He wasn't doubting Wiz's ability. I mean, nobody would they? 19 Premier League goals last season.
Yes.
What a great season that he has. Just how he would fit in.
I think for
Newcastle.
Yeah, I think for the money, it's a great signing. They've lost Callum Wilson, and they could lose Isak. So he's not the answer for Isak. He's the answer for Callum Wilson. What if they sign Sesko, gets an injury? You want a top striker like Wissa available. So many competitions as well, Jeff.
Yeah. And their options are running out, aren't they?
Of course.
Because obviously it seems like Manchester United are favourites now to sign Sesko. So where does that leave
So
Newcastle?
frustrating. Eddie Howe must be thinking, like, anyone we go for, I mean, Gahey didn't want to come. João Pedro didn't want to come. Anyone who they say they're interested in, someone else comes and snaps them up.
James Trafford went to Manchester
Must be so
City
frustrating,
instead.
mate.
Dare I mention Ollie Watkins?
Pardon?
Dare I mention Ollie Watkins? Newcastle are looking for a striker. If Ollie Watkins is unhappy at Villa...
Is it Max Scott coming in now to do
What?
Stop it, Jeff.
Okay. Sorry, mate. It's one of those things that maybe...
60 million. Lovely. Give us 60 and we'll start talking.
Well, I have to ask you, while we wait for Max, if I'm Ruben Amorim and you've got Benjamin Sesko, 22, pretty much unproven, 2 seasons
Not
in the
prolific.
Bundesliga, 14 goals followed by 13 goals, or Ollie Watkins, I mean, I would be looking at Watkins all day long.
100%. But if you're the Manchester United board, are you saying they'd rather go for a 22-year-old? If you're talking 10, 15 million difference rather than a 30-year-old.
But their need is now.
Of course. Amorim needs now. He needs the next 2-3 months.
Yeah.
Not someone who might need a couple of seasons still. But Watkins isn't going anywhere, Jeff.
Jack has just texted and he's taken the words right out of my mouth. He said, Jean-Philippe Mateta is the answer.
Yes.
Has anyone bid? And that, Jack, is a brilliant
Outstanding player.
question.
Yes.
He had a wonderful, wonderful season. So sticking with transfers, it's time for this.
Stick a load of singles in there and then they fall in love.
Of course it's hard. It's supposed to be hard.
A 36-year-old, you'll have the knockers, you will.
Just because it's offering its teat, do I really have to muscle on that?
Is there anything in your personal life that could be causing this stress, sir?
I'm not a great lover.
Hello. Oh. What's your name?
Sarah Louise.
Sarah Louise. Fuck, you're up for it, aren't you?
I was in love at the time. That's what I was doing.
At the time?
Moose is so tactful, isn't he? So tactful.
It sounds worse every
It's
time
his
I hear
middle
that.
name. Absolutely. Max is back.
Yeah, so, of course, as we were talking about a little bit earlier, the world of Tinder is going to be a busy place this morning on National Girlfriend Day, all those singletons looking for love. So we're going to do our own matchmaking, but with transfers. If you like what you hear, swipe right. As you know, if you don't, swipe left. First up, Tyler Dibbling, 19 years old, 5'10" from Southampton. thought he'd found his one true love back in 2022 when he started a relationship on the south coast, but he's been love-bombed by someone up in Merseyside. He's received a love package in the post, toffees tied in ribbons. He's also caught the eye of other matchmakers too, but the Blues have made their first move. Obviously, that bid going in for Tyler Diblin from Everton. Are you swiping right for Tyler? Swiping left?
I think anybody swipe right for him. He's such a good player. Exciting. He's got a lot to learn. But if he keeps improving like he looks like he will, he could be one of them players that if Everton get a deal for 40, 50 or whatever it is, he'll be a £100 million player one day.
You reckon?
For sure.
That good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Southampton think he's a £100 million player now, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, I think they probably take around 40 million. So there's a bit of a gap in terms of. Look, it's brilliant when he first got into that Southampton first team. I thought played too many games for a very young kid. Had too much weight on his shoulders. His form suffered. But I'm right with you, Gabby. No brainer. Swipe right.
Put a big sell-on clause in there.
Yeah.
If he's Southampton.
Yeah.
So you get
definitely.
that big. If it's 20%, 25%, whatever it is that they put in, and you get the sell-on in the future.
I fully agree with you, boys. I know Forest have just signed Danny Doy from Bologna, but I'd love to see, with Anthony Elanga gone, someone like Tyler Diblin. Looks like a brilliant player. Great to see. Right, next up, we've obviously had an update on this João Palhinha, 30 years old, 6'3", loves to travel. Loan move agreed with a €30 million option to Spurs from Bayern Munich. We've got an experienced matchmaker after flings in Portugal, England and Germany. And he started a new summer romance. He was flicking through some profiles and a big cockerel has caught his eye. He'll have to keep an eye out though. One of his exes... Oh, nothing. No. One of his exes is also based in the capital. So what do we think about this? João Palhinha, I mean, I think coup for Spurs, right?
Oh, swipe right every minute.
Yeah.
And by the way, the other thing there is, for Tottenham, at the end of the season loan, it's an option to buy. It's not a commitment to buy as well. It's a no-lose situation for Tottenham.
It fits straight into that team, what they need, leadership. He can do everything, Palhinha, and there's no problem with having an ex in a big city like London, is there?
Exactly, yeah. There's plenty of room for love in this city, isn't there? Right, finally, Connor Cody, 32 years old, 6'1", looking for a move to Wales. This foxy seasoned Scouse mountain of a man has caught the eye of a Welsh sugar daddy. He's got bags of experience and he's ready to fill in at the back. They might be punching above their weight, but can offer a Hollywood romance. So Connor Cody to Wrexham. Swiping right or left?
Wrexham, what can they pay then?
Fortune.
Well,
They
that
can pay a
Hollywood
fortune.
money.
Well, look, I mean, I think they've signed Lewis. Is it Lewis O'Brien? From Forest already?
Great player.
They're talking to
Kiefer
Christian
Moore.
Eriksen.
Kiefer
They're
Moore
talking
as well.
to Kiefer Moore. You know, I mean, they're talking big bucks. You know, when Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney went in there, I was one of those who had a quiet smirk when they talked about taking them to the Premier League. But it's not an impossible thing now because they've done exactly what it said on the tin.
Swipe right.
Connor Cody would be brilliant to have around the club. I mean, he's a great character, isn't he?
He is.
Fantastic.
I've heard he's a lovely lad as well.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely brilliant. And swipe right.
Wow, it's been back-to-back matches here this morning.
Sam Ellard would be buzzing, wouldn't he?
Yeah, that's why Sam Allard's not in. He's having a dedicated morning on Tinder.
Yes.
Yeah.
He'll be taking his first Tinder date to cricket, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Sam.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Wrexham do this season, isn't it? You know, Birmingham City
as
are
well,
another big money players in that Division 2, and you've got the likes of Ipswich, who a lot of people think will bounce straight back as well.
Leicester.
EFLs. I think Leicester are going to struggle massively because of their financial issues and the people that they're going to lose, you know, between now and the end of the transfer window. Max, thanks very much indeed.
Max.
Coming up, we're going to talk Everton. How difficult could this season in their new stadium be? We'll discuss that next.
England may well have to play the rest of the deciding fifth test against India Ebola light. It's thought Chris Woakes has dislocated his shoulder.
Chase on for Woakes at long off, and he pulls the ball down and he hasn't got up again. Oh, I don't know about this, Jeremy. I think we might have a problem here.
India closed day one on 204 for 6. Well, today at the Oval, there'll be a chance to remember Graham Thorpe, who tragically took his own life last year. Ben Stokes says it'll be special for Graham's family to see how much he meant to people.
Thorpe's been a very influential character as a player and as a coach in English cricket. You know, a few of us in that dressing room now have spent a lot of time around him when we were younger, coming through the ranks.
Play starts at 11 a.m. Elsewhere, talkSPORT understands Arsenal have no plans to trigger Eberechi Eze's £68 million release clause before it expires tonight. But the Gunners are still interested in signing the Palace talisman. talkSPORT's Ben Jacobs is on this one.
The expectation is still they'll bid at some point between now and the end of the window and lower than this soon-to-be expiring release clause. And as a consequence, it will fall on Crystal Palace, because once the clause is gone, they can shut the door. They can demand that the previous active clause is matched.
Transfer rumours are continuing to swirl around Alexander Isak as he trained with his former club Real Sociedad. Former Newcastle man Darren Ambrose says the Magpies have been left in a lose-lose situation.
Previously was stating that 300 grand a week is what he's asking. I think he's on around 120, so double and a half that what he wants is an increase. So Bruno Guimaraes, Anthony Gordon, Joe Linton, Tonali, they're all going to say, well, where's our new contract? But then if they accept this as well and let him go, there's still time left. A few of those players again might go, well, where's the ambition of this club? Like, I want out as well.
And it's time to come home. That's the message from Louis Rees-Zammit. He's giving up on his dream to play in the NFL. The announcement will have rugby clubs everywhere on alert. As ever, there's plenty more on this story and others at talksport.com.
Good morning, just coming around to 8:05. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. I'm Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor's with me through until 10 o'clock. Been a busy morning already. Of course, we're building up the return of the EFL and looking at the transfer market as we move into the last month of the transfer window. Everton, in recent seasons, have been a club not far away from trouble. A few difficulties in the transfer market this season as well. In fact, manager David Moyes has admitted they're getting increasingly desperate with time running out to bolster his squad. Of course, last night we reported here on talkSPORT that Everton had made a bid for Tyler Dibbling from Southampton. That bid was £27 million, turned down, but Everton are expected to return with another offer. Now, their pre-season's not gone entirely to plan either, having been beaten so far in both of their Premier League Summer Series games, the latest by Bournemouth, by 3-0. Dan, the Everton fan, called into drive yesterday and confessed his concern about next season and admitted he believes they could be in a relegation battle. Listen to this.
Occasionally 3 and 4, but the business has been shocking. I watched the game last night. If I was an outside bet, tipping two teams to potentially go down, either Everton or West Ham, both of them were absolutely woeful, and I know it's pre-season.
I was going to ask then, do you pay too much attention to pre-season? I mean, Spurs beat Arsenal this morning. I mean, do you care about that?
No, it's one of them. The lads are there to get fit, but in the same breath, we need players through the door, because David Moyes has said he wants 10 in. Well, when's the time going to be on the training ground to get to work with them? When are they going to learn the patterns of play? When are they going to learn the system? Because if we sign 10 in a week's time, they've got a week before the Leeds game, and it's like shoehorning 5 or 6 players into the 11.
Concern then from an Everton fan. That was Dan. Let's get a bit more on Everton and say a very good morning to former world snooker champion, massive Everton fan, John Parrott. John, morning.
Good morning, John.
Morning, guys.
Been a long time, pal, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
Look, Dan is worried about next season, and we've heard David Moyes saying, we're running out of time. We can't get deals over the line. How concerned are you?
Absolutely, I think everybody's right to be concerned. I say we lost Lindstrom and Harrison from the two wings last year. Currently, as it stands, we're playing Ndiaye on the left. We've got Dwight McNeil. Other than that, no winger down the right hand side, no right back, which has been a concern for a while. Seamus obviously can't play there as much as he used to, and Patterson hasn't come up to scratch. So the right back's been a problem. Listen, 3 of the 4 defenders, Tarkowski, Branthwaite, and Pickford obviously coming back into defence makes our defence. The defence is very good, Jeff. Honestly, I know we need a right back. The defence has been excellent, so there's no problem there. But up top, midfield as well, we've lost a massive athlete in Abdoulaye Doucouré, and that's. I mean, it's a shame really they couldn't get round the negotiating table and give him a couple of years, or he couldn't reduce his demands. Because to be honest with you, I'd have Doucouré back, certainly as a body, because we can't get people to come to the club.
I think as well, when you look at, like you says there, going forward. Only 42 Premier League goals for Everton last season. It improved, didn't it, under David Moyes when you come in? Yeah. But no Everton player scored double figures. NDI, 9, Beto, 8, McNeil, 4. That's got to change, hasn't it? The new striker that's come in, Barry, can he be the one, maybe?
Well, he needs to sharpen up, as I say. He'll find that the Premier League as well. I mean, he needs to hold the ball up, Gabby, when it comes up. You know, in the other night, it was only one game, and it's a cameo role we've seen him, but he was on his heels. It was a brilliant ball from Jake O'Brien. He should have been on the end of for a goal. I stayed up and watched the match, and he was on his heels a little bit. So, listen, it's early days with him, and he's young, and obviously he's not the finished article, because that's why we got him. We've got to be honest with you. For the last few years, Everton hasn't been an attractive proposition for people, because we've been down the bottom of the league mostly. So, I think we're probably going to get a couple of Championship players maybe come in, people who are looking at Everton to step up for them. There might be that. I think there's good players come out that Championship. Adam Wharton would be one of them. So I think we might be looking there for a couple, but we've got to get bodies in.
Brownhill? He's left Burnley.
Possibly. Listen, Ndidi at Leicester's there's a clause in his contract for £9 million. He's played 200 Premier League games. He'd be absolutely ideal.
John, I think the way it's not the performances in the States. It's just the thinness of the squad. Obviously, you talk about EFL players taking the step up. Maybe Tyler Dibbling, who played in the Premier League last season, good footballer, but if you were able to bring in a marquee signing, then that would attract other players to come there, wouldn't it? And I'm thinking Jack Grealish, obviously. If you could get Jack Grealish, what a coup that would be.
Well, Evertonians would be hoping, and that would be our Robinho, wouldn't it? At Man City, where they got him straight away and everyone came afterwards. So I'd agree with you 100%. Personally, I mean, listen, I'm a snooker player and Pep Guardiola's forgotten more than I know, but I'd play Jack in the middle. He wouldn't be playing on the wing for me. I'd be having him in behind the striker, and I think that's probably where David Moyes would want to play him as well. But listen, we've got to get sorted out on the wings. But the thing I'm worried about is if Gana Gueye gets injured in the middle, we have got no legs. We'll get absolutely outrun in midfield. So we've got to find somebody very similar to Doucouré, who last year was absolutely fabulous for us and kept running and running. In the 85th, 90th minute, when everyone else was on their feet, those two kept running and putting out fires.
What about even, I agree with that, definitely you need more legs in there, but also what about Dewsbury Hall? He's not going to play much at Chelsea maybe. Could you get a loan deal for him? What about Hutchinson at Ipswich? There were talk about Brentford. In for him, maybe 30, 35 million. These sort of transfers we've got to look at, haven't they?
Absolutely, Gabby. I think you're 100% correct. Dewsbury Hall's a good player. I think he likes him as well. The trouble as well is we're also going to be paying over the odds. Everyone knows we're desperate. We're getting near the end of the window now. We're looking at 5-10 million more than people probably have valued. That's another thing.
Ticket prices, though, that you Everton are charging, they've got the money.
Hey, listen, I got told the other day, by the way, they were talking about, how big a club it is. It was a 52,000-seater stadium. My pal is number 31,000 on the waiting list for the season ticket.
Wow. Whoa.
That's how big the club is. 31,000 he is on the list.
Yeah. I mean, some fans criticising the increase in prices. I think they've jumped up to 4th, 5th or 6th, something like that, in terms of season ticket prices amongst Premier League clubs. You're getting a new ground, you're going to expect to pay a bit more, aren't you?
Yeah.
I understand it. What would be acceptable this season as an Everton fan, John?
Listen, if you finish in the top 10, I mean, listen, David Moyes was always very consistent with us. We were always between sort of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, somewhere like that. Realistically, this year, as long as we're in the top 12, I think fair enough. It is a season where it's looking like it's going to be awkward to get players in. And at the moment, it looks a bit doom and gloom. But listen, I'm an optimist in life, and 2 or 3 players in that squad could change it. We've got an absolute superstar, by the way, an Iliman Ndiaye, who is a proper footballer. And if we get players around him and get the ball passed to him and start getting supply in, that boy's a proper player.
You know what happens as well? Late on in the transfer window, which is annoying because the Premier League would have started by then, clubs get a bit desperate. They try and maybe ask for a bit too much. For instance, Grealish, that might happen if it does to Everton late in the window where Man City have to accept Everton's offer or another club's offer. So I would look at the long term in this transfer window if I was Everton.
Yeah, I hope you're right. As I say, he could be a catalyst. I'd love nothing more to see him in a blue shirt, sitting in playing like a number 10 role or somewhere, in behind, supplying.
Definitely.
And just, that place will get absolutely bouncing. 2 or 3 players could change the whole landscape. So let's be optimistic.
Yeah, well, we want to see him playing football. David Douglas just texted and said, great insight from John Parrott. He'd make a better pundit than many currently doing it. Well, he's had a bit of practice. May not be in football terms, but he's had plenty of practice.
I have to say, by the way, to like to speak to you two, and particularly you, Gabby, I'm sick to death of my Scottish mates every time. Can I have a rebate on my license for my TVs on everything?
Everywhere you go, isn't he?
Yeah.
Honestly, God, he's going to do the what's name? He's going to do the shipping forecast next week.
No, he's absolutely brilliant. He's a brilliant lad there. And I tell you what, Gab, until you've experienced a quiz night with John Parrott and Steve Davis after snooker, you'd never experience anything.
The dream.
They would go on late into the morning.
Oh, really?
Oh, my God. Yeah, well, great night.
That was fun, Jeff. Me and Jeff did a little show in Thornaby. I knew nothing about TV, and you knew nothing about snooker, so it was a great combination.
Yeah, but the daft thing was, John, I was presenting snooker on TV at the time, and I knew nothing about it. Was it that obvious?
It was funny, honestly. I thought they put the 2 of us together. It was Dumb and Dumber, wasn't it?
Brilliant. Hey, John, enjoy the season.
Thank you, John.
Cheers,
all the best, pal.
Take care, pal.
Up the toffees.
Yes,
cheers,
the toffees.
mate.
Top man.
And he really is. I mean, he really
you
is.
can tell.
He's a fantastic Everton fan, and I
just want better for Everton, don't you, Jeff?
You want better for them because
the way we used to battle with them, Jeff, Aston Villa for top 4. They beat us, and they'd always finish ahead of us when we were battling in that 2008, 2009, 2010 season. Osman, Cahill, and the players that they had, Yakubu at the time, like top players. They should be higher up in the table.
There's so much onus this season, isn't there? On John mentioned it. Pickford, Branthwaite, Tarkowski, and Iliman Ndiaye.
Yes.
I mean, they are absolutely
the core
huge
of the team.
players. If any of them get injured, goodness knows.
Agreed.
Okay, it's very nearly 8:15. Coming up after the break, Gabby will have to guess whose authentic Manc accent this is.
Nothing so far. I think the most important for me is just to keep working hard and stay focused, and then obviously we'll see what happens. I think my plan is very clear, and that is for me to stay and fight for my spot, whatever happens.
morning, Friday the 1st of August. It's 8:19. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. Before the break, we heard a Manc accent. Well, a sort of Manc accent. But Gabby, can you tell me which football player this is?
Nothing so far. I think the most important for me is just to keep working hard and stay focused, and then obviously we'll see what happens. I think my plan is very clear, and that is for me to stay and fight for my spot, whatever happens.
Who is it, Gabs?
I'm guessing Hoyland.
You got it absolutely spot on. You nailed it straight away.
Yeah, you can't fool me because I've heard I've seen it yesterday that he said he's going to stay at Manchester United. Yeah, not Manc accent. But it doesn't sound.
I didn't think it's a Manc accent.
Not at all.
He's not a Gallagher, is he?
Nowhere near.
He's just a nicely spoken young man. Absolutely amazing, by the way, that he speaks English.
Oh,
so immaculately.
Better than most English people.
We're better than us.
Yeah, better than me, definitely.
I was going to say that, but I thought I'd include me as well.
Better than this Brummy over here. But he's got a season ahead of him. And if Manchester United do get Sesko, maybe that helps him a bit.
Maybe.
Where you don't play as much and you come on and you score a goal and not the pressure of being the main number 9 at Man United.
Still a young man as well, you know.
22, is he?
22.
Yeah.
On the subject of player interviews, Granit Xhaka spoke to the Sunderland media for the first time. We're not that sure he actually knows who he's signed for. Have a listen to this.
Finish the sentence. I chose Sunderland because...
A big challenge.
Sunderland is well known for...
Great cup.
I'm excited to play alongside...
Everyone.
I can't wait to play against...
Everyone.
My first conversation with the manager was...
Amazing.
When I told my family, they said...
Very excited.
When I think about the Stadium of Light, I picture...
Fire.
The Sunderland fans are...
Amazing.
It's safe, isn't it?
It's safe, but it's brilliant as well, you know.
Yeah.
I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Okay, he doesn't mention any of the players specifically. I mean, there are no specifics in that interview at all, but...
It's funny. It's like being interviewed by the police, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No comment.
Yeah.
Pass. No comment. Plead the fifth. No comment.
He could easily have just said, I'm not doing this sort of rubbish. You know?
What? I don't know any of the players.
Yeah. But Granit Xhaka...
great signing.
32, 3 years. You know, whether he knows Sunderland or not doesn't matter, does
it? Doesn't matter, no.
Well, you know, he's come from Leverkusen, where I think he surprised everybody by being brilliant for 2 seasons.
Jeff, it won't happen, and maybe people will disagree with me, but he's a ready-made captain for that football club. I know there's a captain already there, but I just feel the experience that he's got, the fight that he shows, the player he's on the pitch, he's aggressive, putting tackles in. Everything you'd want from a captain. I think it's their best signing so far.
Yeah, and look, I tell you what, whatever happens this season, Sunderland have shown real ambition.
Of course. They've got every chance.
Love to see it.
They'll be looking at Brentford, like we said.
Absolutely. Right now, it's 8:22. Time for the latest odds with Coral and John Hill.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for it. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Morning to you, John.
Good morning, John.
Good morning, Jeff. Morning, Gabby.
Morning, mate.
So, John, football season almost here. You've got another week or so to wait, haven't you? You know, for the start of the National League.
We have, don't we, Jeff? Another week to sit it out, but we always love to see football back, don't we? So great that we've got the EFL this weekend. Luton and Wimbledon, they'll take centre stage this evening, won't they? And then everybody, will be excited when they wake up tomorrow morning, because if you can't be excited at this time of the year, Jeff, I always say it, when can you be excited? Yeah. You know, we all start on a level playing field, don't we? And until we lose that first game and get hammered at 10-5 on that Saturday, we can be optimistic just for a short while.
Yeah, we've got a nice short road trip, opening day of the season, away at Yeovil. Marvellous.
Oh,
I'll be there anyway. We talk about the EFL. I mean, Luton take on Wimbledon. Would Luton be one of the favourites for that title?
Absolutely are. They've been well backed, actually, Jeff. Been a lot of people like to do the accumulators. You know, each leagues, the Premier League, Championship, League One, League Two, in lucky 15s are accumulators. And Luton, by far the most popular selection in League One. I think they're still getting these parachute payments, aren't they? So
they are.
Obviously, only in the Premier League a couple of years ago. So they'll have a few quid to spend in this division. We saw Birmingham last year absolutely, close to the championship, to the League One title. Luton 100-30 favourites to win the title. Huddersfield, I think they'll be up there, decent size, 6-1. Cardiff, 8-1. Plymouth, 9-1. Stockport, who finished third last season, I think they're decent value at 9-1, Jeff. So it's all about Luton, as I say, top of the betting there in League One. They start against Wimbledon this evening.
Can I ask you about MK Dons? Because League Two, they've had a right go, haven't they? MK Dons signing players from the Championship, from League One.
Yeah, the really impressive transfer window. You're absolutely right, Gabby. And there was as big as 9-1, I think about 6 weeks ago, Gabby. They're now 11-4 favourites. So they've been backed in as well in League Two. So people keeping note of those transfers.
But they're paying really good money, aren't they? I think MK Dons.
They are. Absolutely.
It's Paul Warne as well. They've got Paul Warne, who knows how to get teams promoted.
Doesn't he just? Yeah. Absolutely.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah, Chesterfield 6-1, second best in that division, but it is all about MK Dons in League Two.
Yeah, I quite fancy Chesterfield because Paul Cook is another man. He knows how to get a team up.
No, he does. Yeah, I like Paul.
I was looking at League One actually, League Two. I beg your pardon. I think I quite fancy Notts County, and then I saw what they'd done. Sacked the manager Stuart Maynard. They brought in Martin Paterson's got limited experience. It might be brilliant for all I know. And a couple of coaches, and Paterson, the two coaches, and a technical board, which will include the owners, director of football, and director of performance, will all make the decisions.
Right.
Which is interesting, I mean, you know what they say about...
Yeah.
It's like the old story of the horse designed by a committee, isn't it? And he's
that's
a camel.
exactly, Yeah, I tell you what, I like it 16-1, Barnet. And you often see teams who, do well in the National League and then have a good season the following season. I don't think they'll be far off Barnet. They're 16-1 the betting. Massive points last year in the National League. Walked it, didn't they, the title?
They were a standout team last season.
They were. They really were. We've seen a lot of teams in the last few years go on again and, go up to League One. And I think Barnet will be up there. I really do. I see them being in top 7, Jeff.
John, Test match. How do you see that now?
Yeah, well, it's fascinatingly poised, isn't it? I think England probably would have been a little bit disappointed in the end not to have bowled India out on the day off, so under 200. But 204 for 6, India resumed today. Chris Walsh, we need to wait for news on his injury. He was fielding, he hurt his shoulder. We're not sure if it's a dislocation, a fracture. So we'll be, finding out probably this morning to see if he plays any further part in this Test match. But in terms of the betting, England even money for the victory, India 9-4, the draw 3-1, and remember, England have that 2-1 lead in the series, so India need to win to draw the series. England need to draw or win the match to prevail in this. I think it's been a fascinating 5-match series. I really do.
Yeah. Not so glorious Goodwood yesterday, was it, in terms of the weather at least?
But trends, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. But Whirl won the big race of the day. I tell you what, Ryan Moore. What a judge of pace he is.
He's just the best in the world, Jeff. We run out of superlatives for him, haven't we? He just always seems to get it right, doesn't he? Whether he needs to, lead from the front and get his sectionals right or hold something, or he just gets it right every single time. And that's why he's riding, obviously, for Aidan O'Brien and the Coolmore and Ballydole team because, they're the best horses. They're the ones that need good rides, and he just does it year in, year out. So congratulations to him. We saw a massive upset the other day, didn't we? In the early in the week when Kirat prevailed 150-1. That was one of the biggest prize winners in history in British races, certainly in Group 1 races. So will we see any upsets today? The big race is the Qatar Stakes at 305. It's a sprint contest over 5 furlongs. And we've got an Australian runner in the field, Asfoora, who's the 3-1 favourite. So they produced some great sprinters over the years, actually, of Australia. So this latest one is impressive as well. We'll see if she can prevail. So that's at 305. But anyone going today, take your umbrella with you. You don't want to be get caught out like they did yesterday.
I want to ask you one quick one. Last one on the Premier League. When you look at the relegation, you look at what Business Sunderland have done, and Brentford maybe losing Wisser as well.
Yeah,
are Sunderland looking more and more favourites to stay up than Brentford, or is it
Not at this stage, Gabby. No, it's the free promoted clubs. Burnley, Sunderland, both 1-3, and then Leeds 11-10, still at the top of the betting. I think that's probably after what happened last year. But Brentford have been shortening their 100-30, and the other side we've seen money for in the relegation betting. You won't want to hear this if you're an Everton fan. Everton 15-2 from 8-1. I think Moyes said he needs 8 new players in before the season starts. I don't think he's going to get 8 players in, is he? So maybe they need to do plenty of business. So Everton could be under pressure. I think West Ham as well. They've been one on my radar. They're 5-1 again. Probably need a few players. Does Graham Potter? They get off to a bad start. I could see them making a change before Christmas. So it's going to be fascinating. I think Leeds have got the best chance of the 3 coming up. They were strong last year, weren't they? So we'll see if the new boys can hold their own in the Premier League.
Yeah, Leeds not doing enough in the transfer market for me at the moment. Anyway, John, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, John.
Cheers, boys.
And that was a look at the latest odds, all thanks to Coral 18+ BigGambleAware.org. Fancy Big Mojo, big time in the Qatar Stakes at Goodwood today. Course and distance winner over 5. Coming up, we hear from a Newcastle fan who believes they should replace Isak with a certain former Spurs striker. Find out who next.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for it. 18+ BigGambleAware.org.
England may well have to play the rest of the deciding 5th test against India Ebola light. It's thought Chris Woakes has dislocated his shoulder.
Chase on for Woakes at long off, and he pulls the ball down and he hasn't got up again. Oh, I don't know about this, Jeremy. I think we might have a problem here.
India closed day 1 on 204 for 6. Well, today at the Oval, there'll be a chance to remember Graham Thorpe, who tragically took his own life last year. Ben Stokes says it'll be special for Graham's family to see how much he meant to people.
Thorpe's been a very influential character as a player and as a coach. You know, a few of us in that dressing room now have spent a lot of time around him when we were younger, coming through the ranks.
Play starts at 11 a.m. Elsewhere, talkSPORT understands Arsenal have no plans to trigger Eberechi Eze's £68 million release clause before it expires tonight. But the Gunners are still interested in signing the Palace talisman. talkSPORT's Ben Jacobs is on this one.
The expectation is still they'll bid at some point between now and the end of the window and lower than this soon-to-be expiring release clause. And as a consequence, it will fall on Crystal Palace because once the clause is gone, they can shut the door. They can demand that the previous active clause is matched.
As ever, there's plenty more on this story and others at talksport.com.
Good morning, it is 8:34, Friday the 1st of August. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with the Arnold Clark app. Buy a car and opt into Arnold Clark Rewards to enjoy access to great giveaways and everyday perks. I'm Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. Paul is angry. And why is he angry? Because he said Leeds not did enough in the transfer window, Jeff. 7 new signings and a new striker and a winger incoming. Well, let's wait till the new striker and the winger are incoming and let's see about the quality of the new signings.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying, Paul. Look, I'm a big Leeds United fan. I absolutely love going to Elland Road. The atmosphere is electric.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I wish them well. I just think that in terms of eye-opening transfer business, Sunderland have done more, if you like, right now.
Facts.
Yeah. And by the way, Kessie has texted to say, Jeff just said replace Isak. I didn't realise we'd sold him. And well, you haven't, Kessie. Do you think he's going to be there next season, Kessie? Hand on heart? I don't think he will be.
Guess who Newcastle play at home? Second game in.
Liverpool?
Yep.
Interesting. So it's looking, let's put it this way, Kessie. It's looking more and more likely that Newcastle will be without Alexander Isak next season. So which striker should they replace him with if he moves? 03717223344 is the number to call. Andy the Geordie has done exactly that now. Andy has an interesting shout for Isak's replacement. Morning, Andy.
Morning, Jeff. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing really well, mate. How about you?
Yeah, good. I've got 2 names for you. The first one's a present for you. It's a young lad from Washington, just left Newcastle, called Josh Donaldson. He's just signed for Hartlepool, and he's going to be your star striker for the next few years.
Not this season he won't be, because we've loaned him out straight away.
Yeah, not this season, but watch us. Honestly, watch
looking forward to that. He's played pre-season friendlies and he's looked the business. So
he bangs the goals in for fun. He's a great lad.
Excellent.
Anyway, next one. Who should replace Isaac?
Go on,
Tell Harry Kane to come back to England and break Shearer's record at his hometown club.
That's an interesting thought. What do you think the chances of that are?
I don't know. I think he's got a decent release clause if a Premier League club comes in for him.
He won't leave, Andy. I've got a question for you, Andy, though.
Gabby, you hate us, so you want him to come back.
Okay, one quick question. Monday the 25th of August, Monday night, 8 p.m, Newcastle versus Liverpool. What team is Isak playing for?
He'll be in black and white. He's been told he's not going anywhere.
That'll be an electric atmosphere, Jeff. A Monday night under the lights.
It is. I mean, look. Let's look at your view that Harry Kane, Mike. Harry Kane's a hugely different player to Isak, isn't he?
He is, but the way he drops and gets involved deeper in the game will bring Gordon and Elanga into the game a lot more, and that 3 will work really well. Gordon and Kane have been very good when they've linked up together for England. Yes, he hasn't got long left in his legs, but you can sell him that dream of breaking the Premier League record at Newcastle in a black and white shirt
and beating Shearer's record as well at his old club.
Yeah, and then obviously if Isaac goes, he goes. We don't need one player for that team. We need a team, and that's what Eddie's building. So if Isaac's not there, he's not there. Someone else will come and do the job. But Harry Kane break all the records at Newcastle.
I'll tell you what, Andy, I'm not sure it's going to happen, but it's a really interesting thought. Thanks for the call. I'll tell you the other thing, Andy, is in 5 years we'll sell Josh Donaldson back to you for about 20 million. Is that okay?
That's fine, mate. I know his dad very well.
Good lad, good lad. Andy, thanks very much indeed for that.
Boys, bye.
But I don't think it's going to happen. But I tell you what a story it would be.
I know. I just don't think after winning his first trophy, he's going to want to leave. They've just signed Diaz as well. They're strengthening Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
I don't see him leaving.
Okay, it is time now to get an update on the Lions tour in partnership with Tenor Men.
Qatar Airways Lions Tour Roundup on talkSPORT with coverage sponsored by Tenor Men. Use our online product selector tool to find your best defensive lineup for Down Under. Find out more at tenormen.co.uk.
So the Lions are looking to make history tomorrow morning.
Hugo Keenan to the left, that's up to win it! Hugo Keenan scores the try! British and Irish Lions have won their first series in 12 years.
These lads have dreamed of being a British and Irish Lion all their lives. Dramatic finish like that to win the series is what dreams are made of.
1974, isn't it? Since the Lions team's gone to Series 1 and beaten.
The man that's led the Lions to this first series win in South Africa since 1896, Willie John McBride.
Every player in 74, nobody was going to be second best to anybody. It was as simple as that. We were going to be number one.
When we met, Big Faz made the call. He wants us to go out here and win everything.
Gliding to the right-hand side.
They're a little bit more desperate, which we need to work on leading into next week.
Hugh Jones up and over the line, scores the try!
It's a big honour, boys. Take it with two hands, like Faz said.
What else could it mean to be a Lion? Prepared to win by skill, but be ready to win by will.
Yeah, if you're Australian living in this country, you're sick of hearing this. The last time the Lions achieved a whitewash series victory on tour was August 1927. They have the chance to do the same on Saturday in Sydney. It's a game you can hear live on talkSPORT. So, what about the Australian perspective of all this? Wallabies legend Matt Gitto joins us now. Morning, Matt.
Good morning, Matt.
Good morning.
Matt, I mean, Joe Schmidt, after the last test, it was from a Lions perspective, it was a brilliant test. It was a great spectacle. Not the outcome the Wallabies wanted, obviously. And Joe said they were deflated. But were they not equally encouraged?
Yeah, I think they would have been encouraged or happy with the performance that they put out there. But you go out to win. Well, that's what Test rugby, big, high-level sport's about. So they were deflated, even as fans. You know, for me, I thought they'd done enough to win the game. But, you know, the Lions, they're an incredible team. They clawed their ways back into it, 80-minute performance, and then scored at the death there. So, yeah, I think after the game, they would have been deflated, but they've had the week to rebuild, and obviously we don't want to be part of that clean sweep.
If it does end up a clean sweep 3-0 to the Lions, how damaging would it be for Australian Rugby Union? Because we already know Aussie rules and rugby league is bigger in the country. They can't really afford to lose 3-0.
No, I mean, it's not ideal if that happens. But as far as that, I don't know. Like, for me, I support the team. I'm a proud Wallaby, obviously, through the good and the bad times. But it would be a huge step back if we didn't build on the performance that we had in Melbourne. So I think that's what we're looking forward to. Obviously, the weather, I don't know if you know too much about it, but all week it's just been raining. I think it's 100% chance it's going to be raining, tomorrow night as well. So whether that plays into our hands or not, I just think the performance and building on what they started last week is extremely important.
As a proud Wallaby then, Matt, there have been calls that you'll be aware of for Australia to be removed from the Lions roster. Now, Andy Farrell's called those calls insulting. I guess you would echo that, would you?
Oh, 100%. I mean, we were 30 seconds away from it being 1-1.
Yeah.
So to say that this is a country you shouldn't tour, who knows? It could be clickbait, could be any of that type of stuff. I don't really buy into it. It does annoy me. There's another word that comes to mind, but I won't use it.
It's cyclic anyway, isn't it, mate? You know, Australia will go through a tough time and they'll come good again. Of course they will. It's just the way sport is. Yeah,
well, that's right. And also, people are quick to forget that the series is now 2-2. We had our Classics game last night, the British and Irish Lions Classics against the Wallabies Classic. We've now won 2 of those games, so it's now 2-2. Tomorrow's the real decider.
What about the Aussie starting 15 then? It wouldn't necessarily be the 15 that Joe Schmidt would have chosen as his first choice.
No, that's right. We've just this last 24 hours, there seems to be 3 injuries. 2 hookers that have gone down, Jake Gordon as well, the number 9. So Billy Pollard, who's been on the bench for most of the test, will start. We brought Brendan Pangaramosa from Perth. He just flew in where he's going to be on the bench. We lost Bobby Valentini, who was immense for us in that second test. Just the presence that he brings, his ball-carrying ability, the physicality. His calf, it looks like he's restrained that. So we've had to move a few things around, but that's no excuses. You know, you've got a squad, 30 men, and it's just having the ability to go out and rely on that next man to step up and play the best. And Alan Alatoa, who's been phenomenal for us. You know, he's been the starting prop. He also hurt his shoulder, I think, in the second test.
Matt, what's the feeling in Australia the last week and yourself with the winning try for the Lions? Because we've had pundits come on, rugby pundits, and say it can be 50-50, the decision.
Yeah. I'm actually sick of talking about it, to be honest, because, well, no, but like it's just there were so many things throughout the game where we could have pushed the game further ahead. We're up by 18 points. We let them in 2 quick tries. That's probably a 10-minute period there, which was more valuable than that last decision at the end of the game. However, I think in 20 years' time, I'll still be adamant. I believe that it was a penalty, or it would have been a penalty if it was early in the game, but it wasn't. So, I mean, it is what it is. And then you've got the British and Irish Lions supporters. I don't think they're going to change. You know, both coaches after the game and throughout the week have still said they're adamant. One thinks the Aussie coach thought it was a penalty. The British and Irish Lions coach thought it was a great clean-out. So that's just a grey area we've got in our game, unfortunately, but move on. There were other moments where we could have actually put that game to bed and we didn't.
Yeah. I mean, one thing there's no argument about was it was a great test match. It was a fantastic contest. That's what it's all about in many respects.
Yes.
Matt, thanks very much indeed. Looking forward to that third test.
No worries. Go the Wallabies.
Good lad. Brilliant. Matt Gitto there. I think Valentini will be a massive miss as far as the Wallabies are concerned. And that was thanks to Tenor Men. Andy's suggestion about Harry Kane going to St James's Park has brought about 1 or 2 interesting responses. Darren, the Spurs fan, says, sorry, there's more chance of Gabby going to Newcastle than Harry Kane.
Too cold, Jeff.
And he needs to stop drinking the jungle juice. Oh, come on, Darren. That's a little bit harsh, to say the least. Coming up, Gabby will tell us exactly how Villa are going to raise the funds to make the signings they need ahead of the new season. That's next.
Qatar Airways Lions Tour Roundup on talkSPORT with coverage sponsored by Tenor Men. Use our online product selector tool to find your best defensive lineup for Down Under. Find out more at tenormen.co.uk.
back to you. It's 8:50. It is Friday, the 1st of August. Now, throughout the last couple of days, we've been talking about Gabby's beloved Aston Villa and their all-time record goal scorer, Ollie Watkins. And a lot of serious links with Watkins. Man United, of course, they've been linked with Watkins looking for a new number 9. I mean, maybe Benjamin Sesko is going to be the man who comes in there. Watkins and Unai Emery had their differences last season, particularly after Marcus Rashford arrived. Watkins benched for their Champions League quarter-final with Rashford, who was only on loan preferred, and Watkins spoke out about his displeasure over that decision. Now, Ballon d'Or winner Michael Owen joined the breakfast show on Wednesday at Goodwood and spoke about what he would do if a manager treated him like that.
That's a scar forever for me. If a manager did that to me, I mean, I can't help it. I want to play in the big games, and if I felt as if I've contributed, and he has over the last few years, if you then get dropped for the biggest game of all, the biggest game in the club's history in recent history anyway, that's a dagger to the heart. And you can't forgive and forget that.
Well, it's an interesting view, isn't it? Michael Owen can't forgive and forget. Do you think that Ollie Watkins can forgive and forget?
I think he can. I think what the manager needs to do is have a good, long chat with him. If that's in the training ground or out of the training ground, and just sit down with him and say, listen, you're my striker. Last season, the reasons why you never played in these games were what? Why was they? Did it suit Rashford more for the counter-attack against PSG in certain games? But we're talking like he didn't play any Champions League football. He did. So for me, let's not make a big deal about it. Ollie Watkins, Aston Villa won't even talk to anyone unless they're paying 60 million.
How would you have felt if you were in the same situation and you suddenly found yourself left out of the biggest game of the season?
Yeah, I wouldn't be happy, of course, but this is Unai Emery. This is not any old manager. He knows what's best for the team. He knows what's best for each game. We notice it as Villa fans as well, Jeff. Some games you could predict the team, and you'd be like, oh, he's changed that a little bit. For me, Rodgers playing on the right-hand side doesn't work. He plays his best football, and he's unbelievable off the left or down the middle. And for the second half of this season, a lot of games on the right, Villa fans frustrated, but the manager's there to make the decisions. And Watkins will be frustrated. I've done an interview with him at the end of last season, but I think he knows how much the club love him, the fans love him, the players play to his strengths. So I'm sure he'll want to stay.
I'm not absolutely certain about the financial situation at Villa at the moment. Is there a question about whether the club need to sell him if they're going to bring in reinforcements?
I think it all depends on the amount you'd get, Jeff, because there's no point selling Watkins for 40 million. What are you going to do with that? How much is it going to cost you to replace him? He's our only striker. So you've got to look at it as you sell him, then who are you going to go and get? What money have you got available to go and get a top striker? Who's out there? You want to go and win the Europa League next season? That's something that Villa are probably one of the favourites to go and do. Unai Emery's the manager, has won it numerous times. So you can't sell your top striker at the football club, one of your best players, to Manchester United unless the fee you're getting is ridiculous.
I mean, in retrospect, was it a mistake to let John Duran go?
No. I mean, every Villa fan loved him, but you can tell that he probably was a bit of a problem around the club. The manager probably didn't really like some of the games I was watching, Jeff, and I was at Villa Park, and he's thrown his arms up at the manager, and I'm thinking, Unai Emery would have had this with Mbappe and Neymar at PSG, and he would have hated it. He's not having that of anyone at Aston Villa. No one's bigger than the manager at Aston Villa. So for reasons of him wanting to start every game as well, and even when he started and come off after 70 for Watkins, he was fuming, Duran. And there's a reason why he's left the Saudi Arabian club now as well, Jeff, to go to Turkey. It's a little pattern going on, isn't there?
Yeah. Look, you sold Duran. You don't want to sell Ollie Watkins. But if the books need to be balanced, who is there to sell? Who could you see leaving the club?
So, for me, I've worked at Aston Villa squad and players that they'll want to keep. Well, players that I reckon they will need to sell and want to sell. Moreno, I'm not sure how much you get for him.
Yeah.
He was at Nottingham Forest on loan last season. Didn't play much because of Nico Williams playing left back. But the one for me, Buendia, went on loan to Bayer Leverkusen. Didn't really work out for him. It would have been nice to get 20 to 30 million for him, but I don't know how much you get for him now. Maybe you get 15. Leon Bailey's the one that they were talking about. He was not at the levels last season. Signed a new contract last year. Was not at the levels that Aston Villa needed after selling Diaby the season before.
Yeah.
So he's the one that there was talk about Saudi Arabia. Right when the season finished, there was talk that maybe 40, 50 million pounds from Saudi Arabian club would offer. That's not materialised. That's the one, Jeff, that I'm sure the manager's hoping that can come back.
Ross Barkley?
Oh, no, he's got to stay. He's in the midfielders. You've got Kamara, Tielemans, Onana, Barkley, and McGinn. Okay. That's your 5 centre mids. McGinn can play off the wing as well. They've got Lewis Dobbin. He'll go out on loan, I could imagine. Not worth much. Samuel Illing Jr. as well. He could be sold or on loan. But there's not much in that squad that you want to sell that's worth a lot of money.
Does there come a point, and I'm not suggesting you're anywhere near this point now, but does there come a point, if you're an Emery and you're thinking, look, we can't bring in the sort of level of players that I want to. We're having to sell players to balance the books. With my reputation over the last couple of years, I could go on and move elsewhere. Could you see a time when that might happen, that he might think, well, there will be a time, inevitably, when he thinks, enough is enough, I can't take the club any further?
I think last season, how successful it was. I mean, the run that in the Champions League, it was outstanding, and he got to spend money from the Champions League by getting Rashford and Asensio on loan. So them players did come. I think this season now, even if Aston Villa don't bring in any other players, he will look at it, a competition that he knows how to win, Jeff. The Europa League, a club that's in Europe. That's big for him, managing a club that's in Europe. So I don't see him. He's got the club in his hands. Everyone around the club worked for Unai Emery. Even the sporting directors above him, Emery's more powerful than them even. So the owners that give the club to Unai Emery. And it might be a bit frustrating month for Villa fans looking and seeing, there's not much going on. But behind the scenes, Jeff, they'll have plans. Even if there's like a Leon Bailey, Buendia, Moreno, Lewis Dobbin, Samuel Illing Jr. bringing 60, 65 million between them. But like you says, what player do you sacrifice?
Yeah.
Emi Martinez is getting on a bit now. If you got a silly offer for him of 40, 50 million, do you look at that and get a younger keeper?
Been a lot of rumour about that.
Exactly. So no fans want to see Watkins or Martinez go, but like you says, if you've got to balance the books to bring in other players, because we need another left winger, Jeff, need another top striker. You got Morgan Rodgers in there, you got Marlon, but losing Rashford and then Asensio, you've got to replace them.
Yeah. Simon's got a message for you. He says, tell Gabby, if Isak leaves the Toon, we'll take Watkins and Rodgers and offer them Champions League football.
As Jamie O'Hara says, Jeff, it's too cold up there.
No, it's not. Newcastle is
it snows every day.
Newcastle is one of Europe's great cities. Trust me on this one. Phil in Liverpool, we were talking about Harry Kane maybe going to St James's Park. Phil in Liverpool said, lads, there's more chance Michael Caine will go to St James's Park and sign for the Geordies. Thanks, Gabby. Right, let's look ahead to the next hour of the show with benchmarks.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Benchmarks Kitchens and Joinery. Get trade prices on kitchens to suit all styles and budgets at Benchmarks.
After West Ham star Lucas Paqueta was cleared of his spot-fixing charges brought by the FA, will be joined by his lawyer very shortly. And it looks like Spurs could land Bayern's João Paulinho, but can Newcastle see any light at the end of their transfer window tunnel? We'll get an update from our chief football correspondent, Alex Crook. And don't forget, 1 to 4 today is Johnny Owen and former Everton manager Sean Dyche. What can you expect? We'll find out in the next hour. That was our breakfast preview with Benchmarks.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Benchmarks Kitchens and Joinery. All our Benchmarks kitchen doors come with a 5-year guarantee. Terms and conditions apply.
England may well have to play the rest of the deciding fifth test against India a bowler light. It's thought Chris Woakes has dislocated his shoulder.
Chase on for Woakes at long off, and he pulls the ball down and he hasn't got up again. Oh, I don't know about this, Jeremy. I think we might have a problem here.
India closed day one on 204 for 6. Well, today at the Oval, there'll be a chance to remember Graham Thorpe, who tragically took his own life last year. Ben Stokes says it'll be special for Graham's family to see how much he meant to people.
Thorpe's been a very influential character as a player and as a coach in English cricket. You know, a few of us in that dressing room now have spent a lot of time around him when we were younger, coming through the ranks.
Play starts at 11 a.m. Elsewhere, talkSPORT understands Arsenal have no plans to trigger Eberechi Eze's £68 million release clause before it expires tonight. But the Gunners are still interested in signing the Palace talisman. talkSPORT's Ben Jacobs is on this one.
The expectation is still they'll bid at some point between now and the end of the window and lower than this soon-to-be expiring release clause. And as a consequence, it will fall on Crystal Palace because once the clause is gone, they can shut the door. They can demand that the previous active clause is matched.
Transfer rumours are continuing to swirl around Alexander Isak as he trains with his former club Real Sociedad. Former Newcastle man Darren Ambrose says the Magpies have been left in a lose-lose situation.
Previously was stating that 300 grand a week is what he's asking. I think he's on around 120, so double and a half that what he wants is an increase. So Bruno Guimaraes, Anthony Gordon, Joe Linton, Tonali, they're all going to say, well, where's our new contract? But then if they accept this as well and let him go, there's still time left. A few of those players again might go, well, where's the ambition of this club? Like, I want out as well.
And it's time to come home. That's the message from Louis Rees-Zammit. He's giving up on his dream to play in the NFL. The announcement will have rugby clubs everywhere on alert. As ever, there's plenty more on this story and others at talksport.com.
Very good morning to you. 4 minutes past 9. Friday, the 1st of August. We're at the final hour of the breakfast show. This is, of course, talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Build your own car deal online, all with a few clicks. They make buying your next car easy. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby is with me. Today, Ross has texted saying Emery's exposed himself over the Rashford situation, upset Watkins, pushed Rodgers out of position to ultimately lose the Champions League place. Now Rashford has gone, and the other two players will not forget. Villa are going backwards. Emery should be under pressure.
Get lost
this season, says Ross. He's probably a Wolves fan.
Get out of here, Ross.
You know. And Andrew says, why is Gabby so desperate for Brentford to go down? Brentford are in a good place, even with the manager and players leaving, and he lists one or two players coming in. And you know, Andrew, I have to tell you, a lot of people are looking at Brentford and wondering if this is where the fairy tale ends. It may not be. Brentford surprise us season in, season out, and they may surprise us again this season. Some breaking news: Rangers have completed the signing of Spurs youngster Mikey Moore on loan. I think that's exciting. I think that'll do him good.
Mate, when I seen it, Jeff, a few days ago, I'm like, that's an amazing signing for Rangers.
Yeah.
He's 17, isn't he?
Yeah.
Hungry to succeed as well. He's a talented player. James Maddison was raving about him last season.
Needs to play. Yes. And he will.
Yes, exactly. And no obligation to buy as well.
Yeah.
He's got a chance to prove himself and come back to Spurs and play.
Yeah, works really well, I think, for both the player and for the two clubs. But our focus now, West Ham midfielder Lucas Paqueta has been cleared of spot-fixing charges by an independent regulatory commission almost 2 years after the FA launched an investigation into him. The chief sports reporter for The Times, Martin Ziegler, says it's been a life-changing experience for the player.
He was first put under investigation and told that he was under investigation in August 2023. That's nearly 2 years ago. It was May 2024 before the charges were brought, and it is only now, more than a year after that, that he now has the outcome. It's cost him a move to Manchester City, who were prepared to trigger the 85 million transfer release clause in his contract 2 years ago. That didn't happen. That was also a big blow for West Ham United. So yeah, you're right. It's it has been life-changing.
Life-changing, but not in the right way as far as Lucas Paqueta is concerned. Those are the views of Martin Ziegler, while Simon Jordan thinks it's going to be interesting to see what Paqueta does next.
We will see. If he doesn't sue, you'll have to ask yourself why he doesn't sue.
Okay.
And why you don't sue is because perhaps when you get into the details of suing somebody for something, more disclosure has to be brought forward, and then things become a little bit more convoluted, and the burden of proof or the burden of obligation of exonerating yourself might be slightly more difficult. But in the fact that he has, if we are to believe these reports, and quite frankly why they're in the public domain right now as a result of, I would imagine, some form of confidentiality being required of these sort of things, and it's the court's job or the arbitration panel's job in this instance to determine or to detail the verdict. It doesn't seem to be the case since we briefed it into the media now. It'll be interesting to see what he does next and what West Ham do with him next, and where it goes and what challenges await him as a result of this. I don't know if it's going to be an exoneration, but it's certainly going to be somebody who's not being found guilty.
Yeah, well, it certainly was a case of the main charge being not proven. Now, let's see if we can find out what might happen to Lucas Paqueta next. We're joined by his lawyer, Alistair Campbell. Morning, Alistair.
Good morning, Alistair.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Gabby.
With the first blindingly obvious question, Alistair, is we know the law moves slowly. How the heck can it take 2 years from the launch of an investigation to the conclusion of that investigation?
It's a good question. I think the complexity of this case is unprecedented. We had a hearing of almost 4 weeks to go through the mountains of information and evidence. And that takes a long time to get together, and it takes a long time to respond to. So in some ways, it's almost not surprising that it's taken that long.
Yeah, go on, Jeff.
I mean, the impact, or not just Lucas Paqueta, but his family, over that duration must be immense.
Huge. I mean, you saw how emotional he was towards the end of last season in the Tottenham game, and it's been something that's been weighing on him for almost 2 years now. And the fact that he's managed to keep playing to the level that he has is something I'll never quite be able to wrap my head around. It's incredible.
I think as well for me, having played Alistair, I couldn't think of anything worse than, a case like this over his head where there was talks that it could be banned forever. You know what I mean? That's your livelihood. That's your family's livelihood. It's the sport you love. And you can tell by his performances last season, 4 goals, 6 assists last season. That's not the level that you'd say Paqueta, with his mind right, would get to.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he went from one day being on the verge of a move to the reigning champion, reigning Premier League champions, to the next day being told that his career could be over. And it must have been the most difficult thing to have dealt with that over the last couple of years. All I can say is that we hope that Lucas Paqueta, without this hanging over him, returns to the world-class performances that we want to see.
I mean, that potential move to Manchester City that fell by the wayside, does that leave him with Lucas with any legal options available if he wanted to pursue that?
I mean, all we know at the moment is the results. We don't have the judgment, the written reasons, and we'll have to wait and see what that says to decide his next moves in terms of that kind of legal action or potential legal action. So it's something that we'll have to look at when we see that.
Mm. I mean, where do you, obviously you know him personally, we don't. Alistair, does he see his future now as being in this country, or has that, coloured his view of life in England?
I mean, one thing I will say is that West Ham have stood by him and stood behind him brilliantly. I don't think he has given a great deal of thought to his footballing future, frankly, because everything hinged on this verdict. And, that he may turn to that now, but I don't know what his plans are.
I think as well, Alistair, like we just spoke about, I mean, in any job, never mind when you're in the spotlight, football, anything's on your mind. Going on at home, but never mind a big thing like this. How are you meant to perform? How are you meant to be happy playing football and concentrate? So I can understand why his form did drop. And watching him play last season, I'm like, that's not Paqueta. That is not the Paqueta that we know.
I mean, he's a Brazilian Magnifico. He likes to play with a smile on his face, that kind of flair football. What we hope we'll see now is a return to that. When that weight is lifted, that kind of freedom to play as he wants to play will return.
Alistair, thank you very much indeed. We hope it's a bright future as far as your client's concerned.
Lovely shirt as well.
Thanks, Alistair.
Top man.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Jerry has texted in and says, Jeff, it's Paqueta.
Paqueta.
He says, listen to Tim Vicari.
Paqueta.
Yeah.
Paqueta, yeah.
Fat CB from Fife, currently in Spain listening, said, great signing of Mikey Moore for Rangers. We need to move out several players, though. Anyway, he says, off to get fatter by eating a full Scottish breakfast, followed by several beers. We're very... Actually, I'm not that envious.
I can picture him as well.
In truth, yeah. And here's another one. Chris says, Jeff, wouldn't surprise me if Spurs don't pop down to West Ham and nick their best player, Lucas Paqueta, now that West Ham are a selling club in a rented stadium. Oh,
no
put
comments.
The knife in, Chris. Put the knife in.
I'll tell you what, though, when Kudus goes back and plays West Ham, all the best.
That's going to be... It's quite early in the season, I think, as well, isn't it?
So... I think he said in his medical, he had the machines on his heart, and he was like, Spurs is in my heart.
Yeah.
West Ham fans will not be happy.
He did. We got a text as well, which I'm probably going to lose now, saying, have we missed out on the fact that the mess that's going on at Hillsborough at the moment? And of course the answer is, yeah, there it goes. Am I missing out? Are we not touching on the mess at Hillsborough? And I think we touched on that mess at Hillsborough quite significantly earlier in the show. But it is a mess, and there's no question. And it's a bigger mess at Morecambe as well. And we've already wished them both well, but we'll do so once again. Right, now it's time for this.
10K for Coldplay.
Here, just got a few days left to enter our huge prize draw to win 10 grand and a VIP night out at Coldplay at Wembley. We're giving you the chance to win 6 tickets and a private box for you and your mates on August the 22nd with full hospitality. And we chuck in that 10 grand spending money completely tax-free. It all ends on Monday, though, so here's how to enter. 18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word WIN, W-I-N, to 83338 by the 4th of August at 11 p.m. and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission, or you can post your name and number to Coldplay Competition, P.O. Box 3190, Colchester CO2 8GP, and that needs to arrive by 5 p.m. on the 7th of August. This is a TalkSPORT Limited promotion run on TalkSPORT Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. You don't want to miss it, so get involved. Up next, though, on TalkSPORT Breakfast, we find out which former Fulham star will be playing in a Spurs shirt next season. 9:20. It is Friday the 1st of August, start of a brand new EFL season this evening, of course. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Gabby Agbonlahor is with me. Gabby, you got something for me?
Yes, Jeff, I do. Earlier on in the show, we found out what the voice of football for a generation, Jeff Stelling, gets up to in his spare time.
Tell you what, if those who do watch it, Harry, if today is National Girlfriend Day, it's going to cost Harry an absolute fortune because there is nobody that he hasn't been out with.
Okay, Jeff. Jeff Stelling is a massive Love Island fan.
No, I'm not.
After your admission, Jeff, I have a few questions for you, but I've got 5 questions here. But I'm gonna be nice.
Can I just say, I watch it because my wife and daughter like it.
Oh. So you don't do what Alan does and go in a different room and watch war films and...
No.
When did you start watching it, Jeff?
I don't know. 3, 4, 5 years ago. Who knows, you know? I'm not
from the start.
I'm not obsessed by Love Island, honestly.
Okay, so why should other football fans be tuning in?
Well, of course, there's a lot of football interest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there is. For instance, Harry... The aforementioned Harry, he's a semi-pro footballer.
Okay.
I'm not sure he's got time for the football, I'll be absolutely
honest. So he just
honest.
took a break?
Yeah, took a break. And DeJean, who's there with Megan at the moment, his Meg, he is the son of Gifton Noel Williams, who you might remember played for it was Watford, wasn't it?
Nottingham Forest?
Might have been Forest. Yeah. Certainly, I'm pretty sure it was. So he's there as well. And then you got others like, you know.
They're telling me to ask this question, and you know what one it is, Jeff?
Shakira's a good Burnley girl as well, by the way.
Who in talkSPORT would you pull for a chat? Crookie's just walked in. You can pick Crookie.
No, it won't be Crookie.
Who would you pull for a chat? Come on,
pull for
a chat. Can have a chat. Come on.
No, you know, I have enough chats. I chat to you all day long. I chat to Coisty all day long on the rare occasions when
Crookie, you can answer.
As well.
Who would you pull for a chat, Crookie?
That would be Coisty. I've got to say, he stood me up twice in the Algarve last week. Third time of asking. He turned up for a few beers and we had a good afternoon.
Oh,
Coisty?
Yeah.
Well, he didn't come when I was in the Algarve. He said to me we'll go for a few beers. He didn't see hide nor hair of him.
Promised
so
20
it tells
people.
you about the pecking order here, doesn't it?
All right, we'll move on swiftly.
Yes, I would do. You're a fan of Love Island then, Crookie?
I'm not.
No?
The missus is. And actually, do you know...
All those boys, you see, we all say the same thing. The missus is a fan.
And a couple of weeks ago, she was watching it. It was about 9 o'clock at night. The house was baking. I said to her, look, you're watching this rubbish on TV. It's too hot for me here. I'm going to the pub.
All right.
Fair enough.
So...
No problem. Suits both parties.
Absolutely.
Good excuse, isn't it? That's for sure. Okay, let's talk about some transfers then, shall we? Paulinho, is that a done deal now to Tottenham?
Yeah, pretty much. Loan deal initially, €30 million option at the end of the season, personal terms already agreed. And I think this makes a lot of sense for Spurs because you look at the way that Brentford played under Thomas Frank. Christian Norgard was that sort of midfield protector. Obviously, they were interested in signing Norgard, but he's gone to Arsenal. So I think Paulinho will do that role for Spurs. It will probably see Yves Bissouma leave the club. Interested to see how he fares, Paulinho, because I thought he was brilliant in the Premier League for Fulham, and I was surprised some of the bigger clubs didn't go for him at the time. Hasn't really worked out for him in Bayern Munich. He's a couple of years older now, so it's a little bit of a gamble, but I guess on loan, it's worth the risk. 100%.
Yeah. I think it's just what Spurs need. Sorry, I'm just going to go off
back to Love Island
a little bit for a moment or two. But Tottenham, there was talk about Douglas Luiz going there as well at one stage, wasn't there? Now, he's been disciplined by Juventus. It hasn't worked out. That's the move that has not worked out, isn't it?
I think he's only played 3 games.
Yeah, you know, he's been disciplined for not turning up for pre-season training. Is he going to end up back in this country, do you think?
Well, possibly. West Ham and Everton were the 2 teams that I'd heard had shown most interest. And obviously David Moyes has been tearing his hair out at a lack of signings. I think
he'd do a right job for Everton.
Yeah, I think he would. And obviously West Ham fans are frustrated by their lack of business. And I watched their friendly, actually, against Manchester United. And they look really lightweight in midfield. West Ham, with Ward-Prowse was in there, Soucek was in there, and they lacked a bit of dynamism for me.
Yeah.
Who else are you looking at, Crookie? What transfers clubs like Aston Villa looking to get, you know, big clubs?
Well, Garnacho is a possibility, although I think Chelsea would be his preferred destination. But I'm intrigued. You sent me a text message, didn't you? An angry message from Gabs when I linked Manchester United with Ollie Watkins. He is on a lot of lists, Ollie Watkins. I mean, Newcastle have obviously endured a frustrating summer in terms of signings. they need at least one number 9. If Isak goes, I think they probably need 2. And there aren't many out there, so I know Ollie Watkins is on their list. Would that be a concern for you? They can offer Champions League football?
Yeah, but the problem is for Villa, like I said to Jeff earlier, we need another striker. We can't be losing one.
No.
Then we have to get 2 top strikers. Where are they?
Yeah. And they're not growing on trees, are they?
Exactly.
They don't. And you know, all of those that are there at the moment have either moved or seem to be content where they are. Let's drop down a little bit. I mean, not too far, but Conor Cody, could he be heading for Wrexham?
Yeah, he's heading for Wrexham as we speak. Medical booked him for today. Leicester had a £2 million asking price, which Rangers didn't want to pay. Wrexham have met the asking price. Looks like personal terms won't be an issue. And I think this is a good signing for Wrexham, who I think... Normally, when a team come up from League One, you think about consolidation. Are they going to be relegation candidates? I don't see that with either Wrexham or Birmingham. I think certainly Birmingham are going to be right up there, and maybe Wrexham could mount a playoff push as well. And Conor Cody is a great influence in the dressing room. And if they are going to do another TV show, I'm sure he's going to feature quite prominently in there.
What sort of figures then are Birmingham City and Wrexham paying them? Because Damari Gray to come as well on loan or permanent for Birmingham City. And also this signing here, Conor Cody, they must be paying 30, 40, 50s then.
They've got Lewis O'Brien as well from Forest, haven't they? And are talking about Christian Eriksen as well.
Yeah, they made a play for Christian Eriksen. I don't think that move is going to happen, but it's a good point you make in terms of wages, because Conor Cody was on very decent money at Leicester. I think he is willing to take a pay cut because he just wanted to get away from Leicester, which probably tells you what's a sorry state they're in at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're going big, and Damari Gray's not come back for a few quid a week either, is he? So I think it's fascinatingly set up, the Championship.
Yes,
I did my sort of pre-season picks this morning. I do think Ipswich are strong favourites for me. They've got a £20 million bid in for Hayden Hackney at Middlesbrough. I think he's a little bit reluctant, but we'll see if that one works out. But it shows you they've got money. They've kept most of their squad together. Looking down into League One, if Lee Grant makes the successful step from coach to manager, I'd fancy them. And then I've taken a bit of a punt on Chesterfield. I heard you bringing up Paul Cook this morning.
MK Dons.
Yeah,
Spent a bit, haven't they?
Yeah, they're just a bit short for me now at 3-1. I'm trying to look for a bit of value in terms of the accumulator.
Yeah, I fancy Luton pretty strongly in League One. I think I know it's easy. They've got whatever the reverse of momentum is. Gone down from the Premier League to the Championship and now down to League One. But I think they've got a good manager in charge, and they've really invested in.
Well, they've got the parachute money, haven't they?
They've got the parachute money, and they've invested in some real experience.
What about Donnarumma? Are you going to give him 20 mil a year to get him to Manchester? Casemiro money? Or?
I'm not convinced that that's the type of profile United are going for, certainly in terms of wages. But do you know what? I'd love him at United. I think he was the best goalkeeper in the world last year, and they need an upgrade on Onana. There's been some talk about Emi Martinez. Do you know what? Controversial. I'm not convinced by Emi Martinez now. I'm not sure he's quite as good a goalkeeper as he thinks he is.
I think last season he wasn't as good as previous seasons. No. I agree on that.
Crookie, thanks very much indeed. Greeno's had a word here. He says, Love Island is class, Jeff. He said, Harry is the boy. He said, watch out for the Yank. Tony would not trust her. Nothing better than a beer, and Love Island is there, Jeff.
Harry is the boy.
Thank you very much indeed, Greeno. Coming up, we'll be talking to the former Wales and Lions winger, Alex Cuthbert. He joins us next.
England may well have to play the rest of the deciding fifth test against India Ebola light. It's thought Chris Wokes has dislocated his shoulder.
Chase on for Wokes at long off, and he pulls the ball down and he hasn't got up again. Oh, I don't know about this, Jeremy. I think we might have a problem here.
India closed day one on 204 for 6. Well, today at the Oval, there'll be a chance to remember Graham Thorpe, who tragically took his own life last year. Ben Stokes says it'll be special for Graham's family to see how much he meant to people.
Thorpe's been a very influential character as a player and as a coach. You know, a few of us in that dressing room now have spent a lot of time around him when we were younger, coming through the ranks.
Play starts at 11 a.m. Elsewhere, talkSPORT understands Arsenal have no plans to trigger Eberechi Eze's £68 million release clause before it expires tonight. But the Gunners are still interested in signing the Palace talisman. talkSPORT's Ben Jacobs is on this one.
The expectation is still they'll bid at some point between now and the end of the window and lower than this soon-to-be expiring release clause. And as a consequence, it will fall on Crystal Palace because once the clause is gone, they can shut the door. They can demand that the previous active clause is matched.
As ever, there's plenty more on this story and others at talksport.com.
Good morning. Last half hour of talkSPORT Breakfast with Donald Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. I'm Jeff Stelling. Gabby has been with me all morning. We're here until 10 o'clock. Right now, though, talkSPORT fans, we have a real treat for you this afternoon.
Sean can answer me, and I went, yeah, and he went, can you just say utter woke nonsense? I went, absolutely not, son. He looked at me, all his mates were laughing, you know what I mean? I went, absolutely not, deadpanned him. He's gutted. Yeah, that's for him anyway. I didn't catch his name, but utter woke nonsense. There you go, if you're listening, there it is.
Brilliant.
And I didn't actually say that, by the way.
Yeah, right. A special show for you this afternoon on talkSPORT. Johnny Owen is joined by the former Everton, Burnley and Watford manager Sean Dyche. They'll discuss a range of topics, including how close he was to landing the Leicester job, what a Sean Dyche pre-season looks like, what he makes of the job that David Moyes is doing at Everton. They'll also be joined by a range of top guests, including the Bolton manager Stephen Schumacher. That's especially for Bolton fan Andy Hayes, who texted me earlier on about Stephen Schumacher. Bolton got a tough start against Stockport Sunday lunchtime in League One. So that's Johnny Owen and Sean Dyche from 1 this afternoon on talkSPORT. It's just got to be a question of time before Sean gets back into football, assuming he wants to, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he'd want to, but it's got to be the right project as well, hasn't it, Jeff? I mean, he's an outstanding career. And you're talking about pre-seasons then, I would not want a Sean Dyche pre-season. I think it's probably old school, like back in the day. Biggest hill you can find. Go on, up there, back down, up there, back down. No balls for 2 weeks. But I'm sure even today, it'd be interesting to find out, listening today, if he has got anything lined up.
Who was the manager responsible for the toughest pre-seasons that you had?
You know what? Steve Bruce. Brucey was the worst. And to be fair to him, he let the older players not do as much of the running as the younger players. But Martin O'Neill was okay. I mean, one pre-season, we went to Marbella. I think he might have suited the coaching staff. And Ocean Beach Club, we went there in between sessions. Obviously didn't drink, but in between sessions we had some free time, went there. And
I thought you were going to say
you
went training in between sessions at the Ocean Beach Club.
That sounds about right. No, but I think nowadays, though, it's more football straight away, Jeff. When we was playing, no football for 2 weeks, just your trainers, no boots needed. But now it's more enjoyable for the players.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, there's got to be a balance, hasn't there? Because especially when you've got an influx of new players, there's got to be some bonding there.
Oh, of course there is. And I think when you look at the players now, they keep themselves in great condition over the summer. You know, if you look at when they come back now, the players look like they've not even had any time off. They've got fitness instructors. They're doing their off-season programs that they do. And by the time they probably come back, after a week, they're probably ready to go straight into games.
What was the worst nick you ever came back in after the
worst nick?
Summer? Yeah. What sort of condition? Were you always in decent condition?
You know what? I wasn't that bad because, especially early on in my career, even if you did have a heavy summer, you know, the trips to Las Vegas, Miami, Marbella, it was only drinking, Jeff. There was no eating, so you didn't put any weight on because all you done was drink. Yeah. So you come back at a similar weight to what you left. No problem.
No problem. Yeah, I'm sure the manager would see it that way. Right, it's time to get an update on the rugby in partnership with Tenor Men.
Qatar Airways Lions Tour Roundup on talkSPORT with coverage sponsored by Tenor Men. Use our online product selector tool to find your best defensive lineup for Down Under. Find out more at tenormen.co.uk.
Yeah, memorable tour for the Lions with 2-0 lead, a winning lead already going into the final test in Sydney. Series wrapped up then. It's a great pleasure to be joined by our former Lion, Welsh favourite as well, was part of the 2013 side who beat Australia on the last tour Down Under. Good morning, Alex Cuthbert.
Good morning, Alex.
Morning, lads. How's it going?
Yeah,
right?
good, thanks, Alex.
Mate.
Yeah. Look, before we launch into the Lions, what about this news that the former Wales star Lewis Rhys-Zammit has announced he's returning to rugby after a spell in the NFL? How will he be welcomed back?
I think he'd be welcomed back with open arms, Jeff. You know, he's 24 years old still. You know, it was a win-win for him. I thought I said it at the start, you know, he wanted to try a dream and it obviously hasn't quite worked out, but he's still going to offer an awful lot to rugby and rugby union and Welsh rugby. I think, you know, he's a player we definitely need within that team. And I'm not sure where he's going to go back to. It's probably going to be looking more likely France. They're the ones that have got the money to pay his wages, near enough. So, you know, because NFL wages are a little bit more than rugby, as they say.
How disappointing would he be, though, that it didn't work out? And also, how difficult is it to switch rugby to NFL?
Oh, mate, it's incredibly tough. I've spoken to him a few times, and obviously he signed with the Kansas City Chiefs, so you've got to learn, 100, 150, 200 different plays, and then he got released, then he went to, obviously, Jacksonville, had to learn all their new plays, and then obviously Doug Peterson got sacked. So then he's had to learn, you know, the playbook, mate, is ridiculous. And he said that was one of the tough ones. And these kids that are coming through in the wide receiver corps that he was there, I've done it for so long. You know, it's like when you imagine those guys trying to play rugby union and hit a ruck. You know, it take them a long, long time to learn. You know, so he had a good crack at it, but it was a win-win for me. I think his exposure, his profile is massive. He's going to come back to rugby, and people are going to welcome him with open arms. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing him back.
So, on to the third test then, Alex. Andy Farrell's resisted the urge to rotate his starting 15, which I get. But there are plenty of that squad who've not played a single minute, and it's 4 years before the next Lions tour. It's got to be really frustrating for them, no matter how much of a team player you are.
Yeah, exactly. And I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised at all that was going to be a change. They've spoke about it from day one about winning this tour 3-0. If you look at the records, Jeff, in terms of Lions teams coming down under and winning 3-0, albeit, you know, a team that's 8th in the world, it is very, very hard to do. And them winning 3-0 will put that team right up, you know, in the top echelon of top Lions teams that have gone before, and I think that's what that's their driving force, and I really think they're going to do it on the weekend. I really think they're going to put a number on Australia on the weekend, and I think it could be quite a bit of a runaway. I'll be honest.
I want to ask you about Maro Itoje, you know, captain of the British Lions, England captain. Would he go down as a Lions legend because he's an outstanding player, outstanding pro, and captain, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, to be fair. And I think you probably have to. I did a game for you guys last week, and there were parts where Australia were really putting the Lions under the pump. And the guy I actually thought who grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck was fit together in terms of getting that momentum back. 25-3 down in a test series like that is unheard of coming back, and it would have taken a lot of leadership, a lot of belief. It's what exactly Andy Farrell's obviously installed into that team, not just Mara Toje, but he's the captain, so he's the forefront. He's going to take the brunt of the whole, if they lost that game, and then they're going into this series. So he's going to be right up there with the likes of Sam Warburton, the Martin Johnsons, because they're the only other guys that have, near enough in this modern era, won a Lions series, because it is so hard to win.
Alex, what do you make of the calls for Australia to be removed from the Lions roster? I know Andy Farrell's called, that insulting. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%, mate. This country, I've been here for 2 weeks, and it is such a good country to tour. I know you guys obviously probably been down there. They're welcome. The amount of fans, the atmosphere at that second test at the MCG, 90,000 people. It was unheard of. The amount of Sea Red, even this, it's another level. You cannot get rid of Australia on this Lions tour. It's what the Lions is all about. And I think, not having fans, the last Lions tour in South Africa, this one has been a real special one. And, albeit Australia haven't been quite as competitive, but the media coverage since that second test has been massive this week. And it really does show how high the Lions is and how well respected I think the Lions rugby is in Australia.
What do you think, Alex? Whitewash or not?
Yeah. I was actually with Warren Gatlin earlier on today, and we sort of said the same. We think it's going to be a bit of a blowout on the weekend, and the Lions, they haven't really hit their straps, with the team they've got. And I think they're going to really put the Australia over one on the weekend. I'm looking at 20-plus points, I think, this weekend. I think they're going to go really well.
Smashing. Well, look,
looking forward to it.
Enjoy the rest of your time out there. By the way, the shot you're in at the moment looks like you're in jail. All you can see is bars down in the background there. Look behind you. You see it's a window or something. It does look
I'm in
like
the Four
jail.
Seasons, Jeff.
The Four Seasons?
I'm in one of your hotels, the Four Seasons. So.
Brilliant. Okay. Yeah, definitely a notch up from jail. That's for sure. Alex, thanks very much
Alex.
indeed.
Cheers, guys. Have a good one.
Cheers, mate. Thanks very much. And that was thanks to Tenor Men.
Qatar Airways Lions Tour Roundup on talkSPORT with coverage sponsored by Tenor Men. Use our online product selector tool to find your best defensive lineup for Down Under. Find out more at tenormen.co.uk.
morning. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. Just 10 minutes or so to go. With me, Jeff Stelling and Gabby Agbonlahor. Some of the headlines you're waking up to this morning. Spurs have agreed a deal with Bayern for João Paulinho. It's a loan with a 30 million buy option at the end of the season. Chris Woakes has been ruled out of the 5th Test match. Further assessment will take place at the end of the series. Of course, the Ashes, 14 weeks away? We'll have updates of day 2 from 11 right here on talkSPORT. And it's one of the best days of the footballing calendar. The EFL is back. Luton against Wimbledon gets us underway. talkSPORT 2 at 8 this evening. Cardiff against Peterborough at 12:30 and Bradford City against Wickham at 3 are both on talkSPORT 2 tomorrow. And then on Sunday, Stockport against Bolton. talkSPORT 2 at midday. And to get you in the mood, here's who our EFL experts think will be crowned League One champions.
My league winners for this season are going to be Luton Town. Think about it. They've got parachute payments from the Premier League for another season, even though they're down in League One after successive relegations. They've got so much budget to play with.
And it's tucked in by Corey Woodrow for Luton Town.
But maybe just keep your eye on Huddersfield Town, who've made a lot of changes over the summer.
I think the League One winners will be Huddersfield Town. They're managed by Lee Grant. He's a highly rated young coach who'll be really hungry to succeed. He's spent all summer rebuilding. Everywhere you look, they've got real strength in depth, and a lot of these guys really should be playing in the Championship.
And Huddersfield Town have surely won this game now.
My League One winners are going to be Luton Town. I think Matt Bloomfield showed his adaptability. He's now had a pre-season. He's brought in some players that I think he's recruited really well.
Can he tease that across? He can! And it's turned in by Jones! All alone at the back post, and Luton strike first.
My League One winners will be Luton Town. Covered a couple of their games at the back end of last season. I just thought they performed really well, and I played with the manager Matt Bloomfield, real student of the game, and I just feel with him in charge once again they'll have a successful campaign.
The voices of Ian Danta, Adrian Clark, Chris Walumo and Darren Ambrose there, and I tend to agree with the Luton lovers. I think Matt Bloomfield will stop the rot there. They've lost Alfie Doughty and Carlton Morris, but they've brought in a lot of experience in Naki Wells and George Saville, Cal Naismith. Have you got a fancy for that division at all?
I think Luton as well, like you says. You know, I mean, earlier in the show, I tipped them to go down, but now the way you said about the players that they've signed,
I think they need to start well.
Of
just
course,
to put those last 2 seasons behind them.
Start well, and like you says, I used to, as a player, Jeff, as a striker, I was dying to score in the first game, get the pressure off your back. As a striker or forward, the longer you go without scoring, the pressure comes. And even as a football club, can you get that first win?
Yeah.
So important not to lose on the first day of the season.
Having talked to John Hill from Coral, by the way, as well, I tell you what, Stockport are 9-1. That's a big price. That's a big price. Dave Challoner's record is beyond belief. They lost in the playoffs last season, and they brought in Nathan Lowe just yesterday. Now, he was on loan at Walsall from Stoke last season.
Yes.
And, I mean, when he went back, you know, Walsall's season just crumbled. And I think he'll do a proper job for Stockport. They'll score a lot of goals this season.
Good support, Stockport.
Oh, great, great support. Yeah, 9-1, big price for them. All right, let's finish with a bit of this.
Good business is good business, irrespective of the level that you buy a player at.
Foreigners don't start putting their hands in their pockets when they go backwards.
You respect our balance sheet. You look at the clubs who lose 100 or 150 million pounds. If we do that, we go bust.
Just go out and break the bank if you can. I know FPP's got to come into it. I get that.
You know, I put my money where my mouth is, and that is most that an owner can do.
You're paying an awful lot of money, these fans, and it's diabolical to watch.
They came out with the familiar refrain, what a waste of money.
It shouldn't all be about how much money you've spent. It should be about what you've bought. Exactly.
I'm going for a transfer when I go away.
Yes, it's pound sterling. It's the part of the show where I offend every football fan by trying to sell their players. So we got 3. Let's start with a pretty obvious one. Arsenal, if Eberechi is coming in, they need to get rid of a left-sided player for me. So the choice is Gabriel Martinelli or Leandro Trossard. Trossard is 30. Yes. I think he played in something like 28 Premier League games last season, so it wasn't really a bit part player, and he can turn games. But the reports, Gabs, that there's interest from Saudi, Borussia Dortmund, and a couple of Premier League clubs are also said to be interested in him. So
Makes sense.
I see that Leandro Trossard makes sense, and
totally agree. I think he's a very good player, but when you look at the rivals of Arsenal, they've got better than Trossard on the left-hand side, so it makes sense.
Yeah, and also from his perspective, he's not done too shabbily for himself.
No.
But at 30, if there's a move on the cards to Saudi,
Why not?
Could see him taking
You'd
that.
be fine with that, Jeff?
A big payday.
You'd be fine with that?
Oh, so that's my first one. Here's another one. Leicester City, I think there's going to be a fire sale and a bit of a feeding frenzy there because of their financial issues, of course, relegated last season. And I'm going to pick out a fellow who's played for England, Harry Winks. Now, he's a Premier League player all day long for me. He fell out with Ruud van Nistelrooy last season over not wanting to live near the club. I mean, he's a London boy, I think, basically.
Had a young kid.
Yeah,
maybe.
they've got a young kid, exactly. And I thought he would be ideal for Leeds, or for Burnley. But because he wants to be in the south, or seems to want to be in the south, I thought that maybe Brentford would take a look at that. I know they brought Jordan Henderson in. I know, but he's not going to play every game.
Not at all.
Or I'd be surprised. They need a replacement for Christian Norgard. And I wonder if Harry Winks would fit the bill. He's 29, so he should be at the peak of his powers. And I think he'd be a great
shout.
Probably only cost, 10 million, something like that. You're not looking at big money for Harry Winks.
And he's going to have that experience as well. He's been around, hasn't he? Done it in the Premier League. Played for England, like you said, as well. So I think that's a great shout. And I didn't like that, Jeff, when it was falling out with Van Nistelrooy, because you've got to set that when you first walk into the club. Van Nistelrooy did. Not wait a couple of months before you do it.
I mean, look, if he's missing training, I get it. But if he's just travelling to training, is that such a big deal?
Happens a lot. Now, when it happened when I played, there was loads of Manchester players that travelled every morning, maybe twice a week, stayed in a hotel, but travelled a lot. It happens.
Yeah. And by the way, Leicester needed their best players on the pitch at the time. So maybe not a fight to have picked. But Harry Winks, be a good shout for a Premier League side for me, that is for sure. And here's another one. I'm surprised this deal hasn't gone through as yet. But James McAtee made a big impression, didn't he, with the England kids earlier in the year. Manchester City doesn't get many opportunities. Looks like he's going to be on his bike.
Loan or permanent?
I think permanent.
Yeah.
I think looks like a permanent deal. And people are talking about £25 million, but City are
a lot more
aiming a lot higher than that. Spurs, Nottingham Forest have both reportedly been interested in James McAtee, but you know where I think that McAtee should go, could go, may go, is West Ham. Because to me, he looks like a Graham Potter player. He looks like a West Ham player to me. Now, I'm not sure how much the fact that Lucas Paqueta has been cleared of those charges would affect West Ham's recruitment, but they need some depth in their squad, and I think if they could get McAtee for £30 million, £35 million,
yeah. I think when you've done what he's done at such a young age as well, McAtee captaining the under-21s again to another European Championship,
and he was outstanding in those European Championships.
Himself and Harvey Elliott, I'd say Harvey Elliott 40, 35, McAtee's about right.
Yeah,
both of them could do a job for a top Premier League club.
Well, I'm going to turn the tables now here then. Harvey Elliott, where would you see him going?
Oh, I like him a lot.
Oh, me too.
But I just don't think he's top 4 level. I think he's just below that. Do you know what I mean? So it's difficult to think of the right club for him. Could like you said, Nottingham Forest, where you're going to play week in, week out. They've lost Elanga. But he just wasn't good enough, I don't reckon, to break into that Liverpool team permanently. And at that age, Jeff, McAtee, Harvey Elliott, you have to play week in, week out. When I was 22, every week you're playing 38 games a season. You don't want to be coming off the bench and bit part player. You want to join a club where you're part of it.
If I was a Premier League fan of most clubs, I would welcome either James McAtee or Harvey Elliott.
Good characters as well, don't they?
Yeah. Brilliant. Gabby, enjoyed it. When are you back?
As always, mate. Monday, doing Drive, I think, with Natalie Sawyer.
Oh, right,
I think, on Monday. So
lovely.
Looking forward to that. What about you, mate?
got a day off tomorrow, then I'm back up to London on Sunday night. Be back in the studio Monday morning, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Lovely.
Next week, Andy Townsend with me on Monday morning at 6. So join us then if you possibly can. Thanks, Gab.
Top man.
Alex Crook taking you through till 1 o'clock.